What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Welcome everybody to the Awakening World and tonight's very special weekend collaboration with Global Coherence Pulse, Teresa Collins, and you're going to meet some remarkable healers. And as always, we have great music and some special surprises. I want to welcome everybody who's watching on Facebook or on the YouTube channels, and I want to extend a special invitation. Come on into our Zoom room. In the Zoom room, you can chat, and we've got some amazing presenters that you may even have a chance to chat with. And it's easier for us to take questions, comments, and kind of connect. We're building a beautiful, beautiful community of the Global Peace Tribe. We've been doing these shows for almost 2 years now, and we've really built an amazing collaboration with remarkable presenters, musical artists, even magicians, but most of all, you, any of you that are watching. We all are imaginal cells finding each other, creating the butterfly that's going to be the new paradigm growing out of the old dying caterpillar, the old paradigm. So if you're hearing my voice, whether you're in our Zoom room already or watching on Facebook, or all of you who are going to watch the replay, because a lot of people, statistics show about 40% watch the replay. Whenever you're hearing my voice, know that you are precious. You are part of our Global Peace Tribe, and we really welcome you into our world here. Thanks for coming. I really enjoy, every 3 months, I get to collaborate with Teresa Collins. And she, of course, runs the Global Coherence Pulse, and she is a force of nature, I want to say. She gets a lot done. She's a remarkable woman. And Teresa, you did it again. You have put together a great group, and of course, I'll let you introduce amazing Jennifer. Thank you so much. And if people missed the Pulse from earlier today, definitely make sure you go back and watch it. I'm sure you'll share a little bit about that, and also tell us a little bit about Jennifer and what this weekend is all about.
Yeah, and stay on, Scott. I think the three of us again. I just really want, because we're going to be introducing everyone. And I just want to say this is a collaboration tonight with Jennifer Hill and Om Heals. This is the launch today, global launch of Om Heals. Every month, the Global Coherence Pulse features a different partner that we feel is doing incredible work in the world and can provide a container and experience of us cultivating greater coherence together. And so I wanted to celebrate Om Heals and Jennifer's work. She's also joined with us. Oh, if you go to the Global Coherence Pulse right now, if you didn't come on this morning, because we had an incredible time, you can add your heart and we'll send you the replay. So you'll be able to kind of have some energy there. You can pull off that, Scott. So every quarter we get to partner with Scott and we pick a theme. And one thing I'm loving about this new format, Scott, is that we used to have one day where we could do a theme. And this time we've got to have 3 days, an entire weekend where we can explore healing from the inside out in all the different ways. So Jennifer and I and Scott, we pulled together some incredible friends of ours that we know embody this exploration. You know, we're not all perfect, but we're all on the journey, and that we wanted to bring you into that experience tonight. We wanted to provide a container where we could start to loosen some of that armor around our hearts, knowing that we're in this community together and that we're really learning what it means to heal from the inside out and to evolve ourselves in this world. And tonight is a container for us to experience that, not just talk about it. So Jennifer, I'm so excited to have you and to really celebrate Om Heals. And maybe Scott and you and I can introduce the people, and you might have some opening words as well.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Thank you to Scott. Thank you to everybody behind the scenes who makes this possible. If you've ever been a part of any of these shows, it might look easy on the surface, but there is a lot of love and connection. It's like a beautiful meal that you eat. Sometimes you don't know how the chef has been toiling behind the scenes. And so in this case, we have Teresa and Scott, who are the incredible chefs and all of the behind the scenes team who made today possible. I am so honored and grateful to be here with everyone to celebrate the global launch of om-heals.com. We have many of our wonderful practitioners on the platform. Nicole Forrest, who's going to be joining us tomorrow for the show for live Q&A. We also have Marcus Brown, who will join us tomorrow, and Mary Jo Lerai, as well as Tanya Smith. So much in store for you. And I know today we're going to have Dr. Bradley Nelson, who's going to be one of our opening speaking guests, as well as Shakti Durga and Maitreya. Shakti Durga is an incredible Australian barrister turned world-renowned energy medicine practitioner. And Maitreya is a musical artist who's been studying with Shakti Durga for many years. And so they're going to be opening the show here for us in a moment, as well as my dear friend, Dr. Ivy Sound Spa, who's going to be joining us later today as a musical guest. She is my soul sister. I love her, and is also a practitioner on om-heals.com, as well as doing many things in her own practice in the DC area. So Teresa, I want to hand it over to you. We have so many beautiful guests that we want to honor and acknowledge that are going to be here with us this weekend, and just sending so much love and gratitude to each and every one of you. We intend that you get something of value, whichever guest or musical inspiration or meditation that you hear, that it resonates with you and that you receive exactly what your soul deeply desires.
So beautiful, Jennifer. We really are. We're really here to have an experience together. And I'm excited that Paulette Pipe is with us today. I'm going to add her to the spotlight. She's going to be taking us on a little journey. So beautiful. And also my dear friend and sister, Amelie Grace, who is going to be performing a brand new single, her first one. She's gone into as a solo artist, and really happy to have her here. And I'm excited to bring in one of the cohorts from our Islands of Coherence Network, Kati J. She is going to be guiding us in a meditation that's going to take us out into our sleep time. And she did one last night, and it was absolutely incredible. And she's really a new rising thought leader, and we're excited to have her on as well. And Scott, maybe you might want to introduce Daniel and tell us a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to introduce a couple people. We have Deepak Chopra as our keynote speaker. And Deepak and I did a pre-record recently, and a couple weeks ago, and he's got some really beautiful things to share about quantum healing and about healing from the inside out, very specifically for our show today. And when we were looking at this, I said, we have not had Daniel Ballone on The Awakening World yet. And Daniel, of course, is one of our favorite musical artists. He was on Saturday Night Live many, many times. And for anybody who doesn't know Daniel, he's got a wonderful, wonderful background. He really combines several different musical forms, which is perfect for kind of the multi-denominational nature of the Global Peace Tribe. He's a spiritual teacher and a mantra singer, and he's transformed the lives of thousands across the world. So we're looking forward to hearing Daniel's wonderful music. And Daniel, welcome. Great to have you with us. And speaking of music, we always start the Awakening World with a musical piece. So I'm going to turn back over to Teresa to introduce Shakti Durga.
We had Shakti Durga and Maitreya on this morning for our Pulse. She was our featured partner, and boy, from the moment that they came on in our pre-show and throughout, we just created this incredible wave of love. And we thought that maybe they could open our show up kind of as our opening attunement so that we can really drop in together and bring their beautiful music and carry that blessing from this morning into this evening's event. So blessing, I'm so excited to have you both here.
Thank you.
And we'll put you in your loving hand. Yeah.
Thank you. So just going into your heart, everybody, and just feeling the essence of who you be in this important center of consciousness. And just take a breath into your heart and just let go of your day and what might happen tomorrow, and just really being here now and sensing the uplifting energies of all of the other people who are here with us in this webinar today. All of the presenters, all of the participants. And whatever name you have for the infinite that is pure love, call on that now. And whatever name you have for that within yourself, call on that now. And know that this is the deepest essential truth of our nature. And if we can touch this place, we come into such unity and oneness, such peace and understanding. And so let's merge with each other in that place as we sing Om Mani Padme Hum, which is a mantra of heart.
Connecting our hearts, and we will sing the beautiful sound of compassion. Om Mani Padme
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 Om Mani
Sending love to one another and the self, and connect. We're so grateful to connect together. Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of compassion, one of the names. Avalokiteshvara.
Avalokiteshvara
Om Mani Padme Hum. Avalokiteshvara. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme
Om Mani Padme
Thank you so much, Shakti Durga and Maitreya, joining us today from Australia. They are part of an amazing group of healers that Shakti Durga has trained thousands of them from around the world. Maitreya's music, if you missed earlier, you need to go on his website. He has such beautiful music from he and his wife, and they're about to do a tour in the United States for the first time in 2 years. So please do check them out. They do incredible work, and I love to listen to the songs when I did my energy healing session with him over and over. As we all just experience, it's a deeply, profoundly healing experience. And of course, Shakti Durga has her own website, shaktidurga.com. It is under construction, so if you have any problem logging in today, know it will be back up in the next day or so. And there's also another website that I'm not sure if we have handy called thewbi.org. Again, it's thewbi.org, which is the Wellbeing Initiative. And it's an incredible program that Shakti Durga created that's donation-based so that, if you have somebody you love in your life who cannot afford an energy healing session, they can apply for a scholarship. And I know it's tremendously helped loved ones of mine who can't afford energy healing. You can apply there or donate if you're somebody who already has an abundance. I know one of my favorite gifts that I've given over the years, which is part of what led me to create Om Heals, is to give the gift of energy healing sessions to those who need it. So thank you so much, Shakti Durga and Maitreya. So much love for you both. Oh, Sada! Sada! I just saw
Sada was hanging out here.
This is Maitreya's wife, Sada. Yeah.
Sada is an incredible musician herself. She is a healer on our Om Heals platform as well as Maitreya, and she is just a beautiful soul inside and out. We love you so much, Sada.
Thank you so much. Lots of love to you all.
Thank you guys for being with us this morning and bringing so much love and coming back tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. It's going to be an awesome program again.
We look forward to future collaborations. And Teresa, did you want to say anything before we go into and thank you again?
Yeah, you go. You take it away. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much to each and every one of you who is here with us as we continue this weekend of a 360-degree look of what healing from the inside out means. We have up with us next best-selling author of the book, The Emotion Code, Dr. Bradley Nelson. Speaking of healers who have been trained around the world, feels like you can't throw a stone and not hit somebody who's an emotion code healer and trainer. It's a beautiful book. I remember as soon as I did my first interview with Dr. Brad last year, I ran out and read the book cover to cover. So, Dr. Bradley Nelson, what a pleasure to have you here with us today for this incredible show of healing from the inside out.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. It really is an honor for me to be here with all of you. And I'm so excited to be here with you too. It's a beautiful thing that you're doing. And it's a movement that I just hope continues to spread and fills the world. We're living in such an interesting time, aren't we? with these forces that are kind of battling it out, but we know how it turns out in the end. The light prevails, right? So it's exciting.
Thank you so much. So, Dr. Brad, in case people are not familiar with the emotion code, could you take us through a little bit about what the emotion code is about? And I remember in the show we did, you kind of gave me the example of the sway test, which I share with unwitting strangers. I was like, I learned the coolest thing from Dr. Bradley Nelson, because we don't realize our body's innate ability to heal itself. So talk to us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Well, absolutely. Well, our bodies are made of energy, right? And it's something that's that we know is true, but that we have a little bit of a hard time wrapping our heads around because we're so much in the physical world, so many of us, so much of the time. But if you look at your hand, you know that your hand is solid. It makes a nice thunk sound when you slap it down on the desk. But if you were to put your hand under a big enough microscope and continue to zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, at about 850,000 times magnification, you might be looking at a strand of DNA. And if you continue magnifying that at about 1,000,000 times magnification or more, eventually you're looking at that basic building block of everything, the atom. And if you look inside there, there's really nothing in there. It's all just energy. And so when you're feeling an intense emotion, sometimes that emotional energy can be a little bit too much for you to process. And so the energy of that emotion can remain behind in the body. And we call that a trapped emotion. It's a little ball of energy from about the size of a baseball to about the size of a softball or maybe a small melon. And these inhabit our bodies, and they distort the normal energy field of the body. And when you distort the normal energy field of the body, you're distorting ultimately the tissues that those energies make up, and you're interfering with the flow of meridian energy and the chi, and you're interfering with the blood flow and the lymph flow to some degree. And so what happens is, because of that interference, and these energies can lodge anywhere in the body, because of that interference that they cause, they are the single biggest cause of physical pain on the planet. And we've proven this over and over and over for many, many years now, all over the world. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, emotional baggage is the biggest factor. 90% of all the physical pain that people have is due to their emotional baggage. So if you think about this right now, undoubtedly out of the many, many people that are on the show right now, quite a few of them probably have some kind of physical pain. And in the vast majority of those cases, that physical pain is the subconscious mind trying to tell you that you're still carrying some baggage from your divorce, or when you were abused as a child, or from those difficult things that you've lived through. And so it's so fascinating, because physical pain is just the easiest symptom, the most common symptom, I think. It's like a check engine light in your car. If the check engine light comes on in your car, you know you need to see a mechanic. And the body has lots of different kinds of check engine lights. The most common one is pain, but there are other ones as well. Sometimes there's disease that happens to us. Sometimes we deal with depression or anxiety or phobias or panic attacks or PTSD or eating disorders or other kinds of self-sabotage, or we can't conceive a child, or we have asthma or some kind of digestive problem or some other kind of physical, mental, or emotional problem going on. And the first place to look is emotional baggage, because about 80% of the time when you find the emotional baggage that is the underlying cause of these mental, emotional, and physical symptoms, the symptoms seem to go away. Now, we don't promote the emotion code as a cure for anything, but what we believe is that emotional baggage is the single biggest underlying common denominator for all of the symptoms that we suffer from. And so it's all about unconditional love, and it's all about clearing our energy fields, right? When we come into this world, by and large, we have this pure, pristine, clear energy field. And then things start happening to us. Life starts happening. Welcome to planet Earth, right? And we start developing these little trapped emotions, these little balls of dark energy in our bodies. And so by the time we get to be 40 years old or a little older, we might have quite a lot of these. And so rather than being a nice, clear, clean, pristine energy field, what we have is, it's an energy field that's full of all these dark clouds. It's like there's a storm going on, a storm front's going through, and it's stuck in our bodies. So as we start to get rid of this emotional baggage, it's essentially removing these little dark areas of energy in our bodies. And at a certain point, many people have said that they feel like they're stepping out of this old skin they've been walking around in. And you see, our emotional baggage distorts who we are supposed to be. And by getting rid of enough of that baggage, we get back to who we are capable of being and who we really are intended to be. And we find that our ability to love more expands, and we're able to overcome things that used to really bother us or plague us or keep us bound to the earth. and in that vibrational sense. And so we're able to rise, and we become lighter. In fact, one of my favorite stories was a practitioner went to work on this woman at her home. And she happened to work on this woman's son as well, who was about, I think, 10 years old. And after she got done working on him, he bolted out of the room. And they were looking at each other, wondering where he went. And about a minute or so later, he came back in with this puzzled look on his face. And his mother said, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And he said, "Well," he said, "I weighed myself this morning on the scale, and I know exactly how much I weighed then." And he said, "I know that I'm lighter now. I have to be at least 10 pounds lighter, but I weigh the same. I don't understand." And so feeling lighter is one of those side effects of getting rid of that baggage.
So beautiful, Dr. Nelson. And we have actually a question in the chat from Karima asking, how do we get rid of emotional baggage? And I'm going to ask a precursor question to that, if you don't mind. The precursor question is, instead of knowing how to get rid of it, how do we even know if we have it? And how many of these little dark circles do we have? Talk to us a little bit about that, please.
Yes. Well, my experience is that we all have emotional baggage. Now, if we have a high level of emotional intelligence and we're able to really deal with things without getting upset in our lives, we'll have less emotional baggage than someone who tends to be volatile and flies off the handle a lot. But we all have emotional baggage. So how do we know we have it? Well, it's an interesting thing. What we have to do is we have to have a way to tap into the subconscious mind. That subconscious mind within you, I believe, is so vastly intelligent that we have not really even begun to explore what it's capable of and how powerful it is. I remember for many years, I used to teach people that we use 10% of our intelligence consciously. And then after years of that, I thought, well, it can't be 10%. So maybe it's 5%. I've heard other people say that. So then for a while, I taught that. And then it was only a few years ago that I actually realized, I've never actually asked about this. I've never asked the higher power about this. I've never really tested this to see. And so what I did is I prayed about this and asked for some guidance. And then I did some testing. And you can do this yourselves if you want to. What I found blew my mind, because what I found was that we use 0.0000000001% of our intelligence consciously. Now, if you think about it, when people die and they go to the other side, they often come back and report how their mind expanded to this amazing degree. And sometimes they're able to ask as many questions as they want simultaneously, and the answers all flow in spontaneously and are understood perfectly. And I think that that gives us a little bit of a glimpse into who we really are. We come into this world, and I believe that somehow those memories of who we are before we appeared here are blocked to us in some way. So we don't remember. All we know is here we are. And I think that there are divine reasons for that. But I think that as time goes on and we leave this existence, that all of those memories come back to us of all of our ages of existence. I think we're all eternal beings that have, I think we've always existed and we always will exist. So it's fascinating to think about. Well, we have to tap into that subconscious mind because it remembers. It's like a holographic archiving computer. It knows the history of every cell in your body. And you've got about 37 trillion of those. And they say that every cell is equivalent in complexity to a full-size aircraft carrier with jets on the ramp with their engines spooled up, ready to take off, and thousands of people working at all their individual jobs. That's a single cell, 37 trillion of those. And the subconscious mind, your subconscious mind, knows the history of every single cell in your body. It knows exactly what you need to be well. It knows exactly what emotional baggage you have. It knows exactly what that baggage is doing to you. It knows if you're diagnosed with cancer. It knows exactly why you're manifesting that. It knows that if you are having a hard time manifesting love in your life, your subconscious mind knows what the blocks are. So how do we tap into the subconscious mind? Well, The easiest way to do it, one of the ways that we teach, and the first method that you learn in the emotion code book is called the sway test. So I can walk you through that right now if you'd like.
Please.
Yes.
Do, Dr. Brad, we'd love that.
Okay, awesome. So here's what you do. Now, if it's possible for you there, as you're watching, just stand up if you can. If you can't stand, you can sit right on the edge of your chair, and works better if you're standing. Now, if you're driving, just do this later. Okay, we don't want you to have an accident. So just stand there, close your eyes, drop your hands down by your sides. Take a breath. Let that breath out. And as you stand there and attempt to stand still, you'll notice there's a little bit of movement going on. It's impossible really to stand perfectly still. Even at Buckingham Palace, those guards, if you look at them very closely, there's a little bit of movement going on, and that's normal. That's just your postural muscles working to keep you standing upright. But now, what I'd like to share with you is that they've done studies and they found that plants, of course, we know that plants will grow towards light coming in from a window. They'll also grow towards beautiful sounds coming out of a speaker, like lullabies and classical music and so on. They've also found that plants will grow away from sound that's coming out of a speaker that is grating or annoying sounds, certain kinds of really intense music. The plants will grow away from that. Now, the human body has the same capability. It will respond to positive or negative input. Now, the easiest way to tap into the subconscious mind is to use this little method called the sway test. So as you're standing there, very relaxed with your hands down by your sides, let's first of all think about something that we hear every day, unfortunately, on this planet, something that before long is going to end, I believe, forever on this planet, but it's still going on right now. And that thing is called war. Now, we've all heard that word. There have been wars going on. There are wars going on right now all over the planet. And there have been for thousands of years. Now, what I'd like you to think about, though, for a moment is I'd like you to think about what really goes on. Rather than just hearing the word and letting it go by, think for a moment about what's really going on. What does that word really mean? What are people doing to other people when war is happening? If you were trying to describe what we do here in this world, okay, to someone from another world where war doesn't exist, what would you tell them? Now, as you're thinking about this idea about war and what really goes on, at a certain point, your subconscious mind, if you stay focused, at a certain point, your subconscious mind will start to move you away from that thought of war. You'll start to sway backward. And that's your subconscious mind trying to move you away from that thought. Now, if it didn't work for you so far, you can try it again after, and it will work for you. It usually takes about 3 to 10 seconds or so initially, but the more you do this, the faster it becomes. Now let's try something positive. So again, on something negative, the body will tend to sway backward. On something positive, the body will tend to sway forward, just like a plant moving forward toward the light. So I'd like you to imagine that 1,000 years have gone by. You're living in the future now. So again, just relax there, drop your hands to your sides, and take a little breath. Let it out. We're leaving war behind us now and all of that. It belongs to the old world. And now you're 1,000 years into the future. And life is very different now because you're living in this field of unconditional love. Everything you do now is acted out and done in this immense field of unconditional love. Everything in the universe is filled with nothing but love for you. Imagine for a moment what that would be like, what that will be like, because that is where we're going. Now imagine for a moment a little bit about yourself. Imagine that you have grown over the last 1,000 years and you've become a being of unconditional love. And imagine that the love that fills your heart, that unconditional love, that beautiful, perfect love for yourself, for everyone you know, for all of creation is so big that that love can't even be contained by your heart. And that love expands out from your heart and it goes out into space and it fills the solar system and it just continues to travel outward to infinity. Imagine living in a world full of people like that. And let me tell you, that is absolutely where we are going. And right now, your body is on its tiptoes, most of you. And that's because your subconscious mind, that spirit within you, that inner you, knows that that is a potential future, a potential reality for you. And it is wanting to move you towards that potential future, you see. And so this is the sway test. Now, we use the sway test to get answers from the subconscious mind, right? And so what you can do is you can use this same inherent capability of your body to sway forward for yes answers and backward for no answers. So what you can do is you can ask yourself, for example, again, close your eyes, relax, hands down by your sides. Or again, if you're sitting, just sit right on the edge of your chair and make this statement for yourself. I have a trapped emotion that needs to be released. And hold that thought. I have a trapped emotion that needs to be released. I have a trapped emotion that needs to be released. Now, your body will most likely sway forward on that statement. And that's your subconscious mind just telling you, yes, that is true. Thank you for asking, right? Because most of the time we don't ask the subconscious mind anything. Now, if you didn't go forward on that one, you may have a wall that's been put up around your heart. And that's a wall of emotions that was probably put up when you were going through something difficult and you felt like you were really deeply grieved or really deeply hurt and you felt like your heart maybe was going to break. And that's a physical sensation where there's pressure on your chest, pressure on your heart. You can feel like you're choking or like you can't breathe. And most of us have experienced that. If you go through that more than once or twice, the subconscious mind will build a wall to protect your heart. And it's a great short-term measure. Long-term, it's not good because it interferes with your ability to give and receive love and to really manifest that perfect blueprint that's in your heart of the life that you're capable of creating and manifesting in the world. 93% of people have this phenomenon, this heart wall phenomenon. So one more question that you can ask is, do I have a heart wall? In other words, that energy field, that field that is made of all those emotional layers, those negative emotions wrapped around your heart. Ask that question, pose that question to your subconscious mind. Do I have a heart wall? Do I have a heart wall? Do I have a heart wall? And see what shows up. And if your body sways forward on that one, then it means that at some point your heart was going to break and your subconscious mind tried to protect your heart. But that is handicapping you right now from creating the love that you're capable of creating. It's interfering with your ability to connect with higher power, with other people, and it's interfering with your ability to really manifest what you're capable of. So there's a short version, and hopefully that was interesting for you guys, for all of you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brad. Everybody is blowing up the chat saying, wow, I fell forward. And I was actually doing it with you in my chair here. And I remember being astounded the first time you and I did this together. It really is very deep and very profound, which is why I highly recommend that people check out your book, The Emotion Code. Before we go to the next segment, Dr. Brad, are there any other closing thoughts or maybe anything I didn't get a chance to ask you that you'd love to leave our listeners and viewers with?
Well, we're just living in such a fascinating, such an interesting time, aren't we? And we have these tools now. The whole purpose of my life and my coming into this world at this time is to bring into the world these amazingly simple yet incredibly powerful healing methods. And the emotion code is one of those. And it's so simple It's so easy. Children can learn how to do it and are doing it successfully all over the world. But you really do want to try this. If you want to try out the first couple of chapters of the book without having to actually buy it, you can go to our website at discoverhealing.com, and right at the top of that site, you'll see a link there. Okay, yeah, there you go. Get your free emotion code starter kit, and that'll give you the first couple of chapters for free, and you can read those. And then if you want to continue, you can go ahead and get the book. It's on Amazon and Audible. It's available everywhere. It's available also on our website, cheaper on Amazon. But anyway, if you're new to this, you really need to try this, because it's just so much fun. And it's really, someone earlier said that it's about our birthright. And I believe that absolutely, that we're living in a time now where it's time for us to take back that healing birthright that belongs to every single one of us. There is so much healing that needs to take place in this world. For this world to be able to transform, lots of healing needs to take place. And with the emotion code, you can be the catalyst. You can learn this. It's easy. And you can help yourself. You can help your family members. You can do so much healing. It's the easiest, simplest method that's ever been developed, I think. And so I would just try to, I would just want to encourage everybody to take a look at this and try it out, because I think that you'll be amazed how well it works, and you're really going to have a lot of fun.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Dr. Brad. Noelle says, I just bought it. So deep gratitude. Thank you so much. Dr. Bradley Nelson has been here with us today for the Awakening World, Healing from the Inside Out, sharing his deep wisdom about the body's natural ability to know what it needs. And again, I highly recommend the book. I've read it myself and strongly recommend looking at the work that Dr. Brad and his team are doing. And I think that there's ways that people can become practitioners too if they decide to go further down that journey. As somebody who's a huge proponent of energy healing in all of its forms, I definitely encourage any of you out there where that idea resonates for you to check that out as well. So thank you so much, Dr. Bradley Nelson, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you all. God bless you. And my prayer for you is that this work that you're doing will just continue to expand and just fill the whole world, because the world needs it so desperately. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Well, on that note of healing from the inside out and talking about practitioners, Teresa gave me the wonderful opportunity to share a little bit with you today about om-heals.com, which is the platform that I co-founded with my incredible co-founder and business partner, Moon Cho. The reason we created this platform is that so many of us are trying to find ways to heal ourselves. And yet, in something as short as a half hour or an hour session, we have these healers that are from around the world, many of whom are even in the room with us today. We have healers from Morocco, Australia, Shakti Durga and her team. We have many wonderful healers. And as you can see from the list of practitioners here, this list goes through the practitioners, or you can choose to be custom matched with a practitioner. So what does that mean, and why would you even want to do that? Well, if you've ever had any sort of therapeutic relationship with anybody, you know that there is that certain je ne sais quoi, that certain special something. And my gift has always been being able to connect people. I built and sold my first company in the recruiting space. And one of the things that I used to be able to do is I would meet person A, a job seeker, and I'd know my client, and I would just intrinsically know what would have one person match with another. So we worked with some of our top advisors over the last year and created an in-house matching algorithm that it really does feel kind of magical. It's incredible. In fact, it's very sweet. A lot of Shakti Durga's healers who are on the platform with us, they actually match with one another algorithmically. So imagine, what if you could answer a series of questions and to know that the person you're being matched with is in alignment with you as somebody you can feel safe with? We had a veteran named Jim in the months of December and January. We had a special offer where for every purchase made on om-heals.com, what we did is that we offered a gift to a veteran who was in need of a session. And one of the veterans who took us up on the offer was named Jim. And Sada, who was actually with us earlier, is one of the healers on the platform, did a session for him. And he said, Jen, I want you to know that I've been in therapy for 30 years for anger management, anxiety, stress, PTSD. And he said the 1 hour session with Sada was so deep and profound and healing that it made more of a difference in 1 hour than the 30 years of therapy he had been doing. So why does this matter? Energy medicine. I remember thinking this was the craziest idea about 10 or 15 years ago. I used to have an office on West Olympic Boulevard in Los Angeles, and I would go to this body talk doctor who is a healer on our platform now, and I would sit in her office and she would kind of tap my wrist, and I had no idea what she was doing, but it was helping me to heal my ailments. So fast forward to one day I'm in Cabo San Lucas and it's day one of my vacation. Now, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but I was feeling terribly ill that particular day. And I texted this healer named Jeannie and I said, Jeannie, I don't really understand what you do to begin with, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that maybe you can do this thing that I don't understand remotely. You see, I'm terribly ill. I'm not feeling well at all. And so I go to bed that night and I'm feeling miserable, resigned to the fact that I'm going to have an awful vacation. And the next day I wake up, it's 9:05 a.m. I look at my phone, I'm like, how do I feel so amazing? And in that moment, Jeannie texted me the notes from my session explaining to me I had picked up a parasite and some bacteria and that she had bounced me to it. And to this day, Jeannie is still one of my go-to healers. And actually, I wouldn't be able to be here with you today if it weren't for these incredible healers like Shakti Durga and Jeannie and all of the wonderful healers on the platform, because believe it or not, I actually just found out 2 days ago I am positive for COVID. So I remember I got the first test and, you're kind of scratching your head going, oh, maybe it's a false positive. But then I took the second and then the third professional test, and it turns out, yes, I am actually right here before you live with COVID. And so thanks to the incredible work of the energy healers on the Global Coherence Pulse earlier, Teresa and Shakti Durga and everybody sent me the healing energy. And of course, it takes doing the internal work. This is something important that I want to relay to you. When you work with an energy healer, it's not just, oh, I'm going to feel better. Even when Jeannie helped me heal that time originally in Cabo, if I went out and went partying and drinking, and we were talking about this yesterday in the plant medicine panel, you're still not going to be healed. I spent 8 hours in prayer and meditation today to be able to be well enough to be here with you in conjunction with all of the beautiful and magical energy healers who I personally work with. And so I invite you, if energy healing is something that maybe speaks to you, maybe you're curious about it, please do email me if you have any questions. You can email me at jennifer@om-heals.com, and myself or my colleague Moon would be happy to answer any questions. And again, you can start to sort through and see, does it speak to you? Because when you find somebody who you can trust, ironically, in fact, several of my favorite energy healers I've worked with for many years, Jeannie included, even they match algorithmically with me. Now, if you inadvertently try to work with somebody, you might have a negative experience. Let's say that you go find somebody, and Shakti Durga, I think, mentioned this at some point during the weekend, that you need to be with somebody who is not going to judge you, somebody who is going to hold a beautiful sacred space, because it's really only in somebody reflecting back to you the wholeness that already exists and mirroring that wholeness, that's where you can step into that. And if you have, unfortunately, just like anything out there, just like there are good attorneys and bad attorneys, good doctors and bad doctors, there are energy practitioners out there who might not necessarily be good or bad, but they might not be the best fit for you. So be sure to do the due diligence that you need to do and to find the right energy healer who's going to match with what it is that you need the best. Thank you. I see all the prayers in there. If you guys see me sniffling, I'm trying not to sniffle on camera with everybody. I was just so emotionally raw earlier on the pulse that tears were streaming down my face, just trying to hold it together and not disappoint Teresa or Scott or whomever. And talk about emotions. It was so liberating just sharing with Teresa and with the team earlier on the pulse that, hey guys, I'm doing the best I can, and yet I'm still having symptoms. And the beautiful thing is, our symptoms don't define us. The more we do the internal work, the more we pray, we meditate, we talk to our own bodies. I've been talking to my sinuses all day and my throat. I woke up with a sore throat and could barely swallow. And I even like to lovingly put my left hand on whatever part of my body needs healing and just ask it, what do you need? How can I honor you? Because we're really the only ones who know the best of what we need for our healing. And when we work in conjunction with emotion code or what Deepak's going to talk to us about later, that's how we can really connect to the essence of our healing. So get to know yourself, get to know your body. And in doing so, that's where we can connect to the perfect health and wholeness in each and every one of us.
Let's
Sorry.
so beautiful, Jennifer. And I just want to, I know all of us would like to actually take a moment to send you some healing energy. When you birth a big project like this, I mean, the global launch of Om Heals and everything that's required to get there, it really takes a lot. And oftentimes, right in that doorway, some part of us has to finally let go and let ourselves be loved and nourished and filled back up for all that we've done. And so right now, we would love to do that for you. And just like let you know through the frequency of the energy that we're sending out, how much we appreciate, how much you love us all. And how much you're dedicated to making sure that everyone has access to the kind of tools and resources and people that can help us heal from the inside out. It's so, so important when we birth projects like this that we then just let ourselves be held and really nourished. And we love you so much.
I love you too so much, Teresa. And thank you for being Mama Bear earlier. Scott, we got on the call earlier and Scott's like, and we'll do the after show. And Teresa knew because I had just come out. It was like, oh, and by the way, I have COVID. No big deal. I have like a pile of tissues right here. And that's why she's like, Jen, maybe you should say no to the post show. So thank you. I love and receive it. And I'm so honored and grateful to be here and to be held in this sacred space of healing.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's so many of us that are on this call right now that are moving through big things. We're all challenged in some way. I had COVID about 3 weeks ago. Boy, it just pulled the rug out from under me. But also there was something powerful of a trim tab because it made me focus more on my own health and well-being and let a lot of things go so that now on the other side of it, there's some clarity around what's essential. So, we're all going through something and let's have tonight nourish us no matter where we are and let this example of, the giving that Jennifer has done in this launch, but also our ability to receive when we need it. That's one of the hardest things we have. Yeah.
A lot of our people are asking how to get hooked up to a practitioner. So I'm going to go back to the website for a moment. It's om-heals.com and you click Get Matched. And I did this and it's a really fun little quiz. It was interesting the questions that were asked. And you just go through. It's really easy to answer the questions. Jennifer is providing all of us who are watching with a special code, which is Awaken 10. Awaken 10. And what does that code do for us, Jennifer?
So thank you, Scott. So Awaken 10, you just put in the promo code. There are two different ways you could go about booking a practitioner. The one is you can go to the View All Practitioners list, and we actually have two of our wonderful healers who are going to be with us tomorrow live answering questions for the morning show. So you could click on any one of these if you saw somebody your heart felt drawn to energetically. When you would go to check out, you would write Awaken 10 in all caps. There's Ivy, our lovely Ivy, who is one of our incredible practitioners and also our musical guest today. I heart and adore you, Ivy. And you would put that in, or if you want to see who you match with energetically, it's also just a fun thing to do. Then what you do is you answer the matching questions and your customized matches of healers from around the world. We're so blessed to have healers Morocco, Mexico, Europe, Australia, India. You know, these people healers are coming to us from around the world. And if you're a practitioner who would also like to join the platform, please feel free to reach out to me at jennifer@om-heals.com. And I promise we will get you your matches. The algorithm is automated, however, the emails are not. So with my current state of well-being, it may take a slight delay, not longer than normal, to get your matching emails. And I appreciate your patience in advance.
Thank you, Jennifer. And tomorrow morning on the Sacred Sunday show, we're going to meet some more of your practitioners, and we're going to be able to go deeper into some of the questions. So,
Thank you.
and I did not know that you had COVID until a little while ago. So it's amazing all that you've accomplished this weekend. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
my friend. Thank you.
Well, I think it's time for some music, and I'm really excited that we get to have one of my favorite musical artists. I met him through, and we're getting that echo again, Daniel. So there we go. When I'm speaking, we're getting an echo back. So there we go. This is Daniel Balone, and he is a most beloved, not just musical artist, but spiritual teacher. Do you know that he has helped over 20,000 students around the world learn the art of happiness? He's been teaching that for 15 years. And I want to say in the 2 years I've been dealing with him, he's always like loving, smiling. There's just this beautiful ease of love that comes through everything he does, including his music, which we're about to hear. So Daniel, thank you so much for being with us tonight. And Daniel's going to do two songs for us, one now and then one to close out the show. Take it away, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Scott, and namaste to everyone. I love this topic of this show, Healing Inside Out, because I feel so much of us need healing during these times. And make me also contemplate, what is this healing that needs to happen to you in order to be well in the outside? And I believe that we have two basic needs as human beings that have to do with expression. And music is a part of that in my life. It has to do with self-expression and self-expansion. And self-expression is basically sharing how we feel. Sometimes we want to share with our partners if we feel upset, or we feel happy, or we feel hopeful. Whatever we feel, we need to express it. And our words create realities and situations and context that is so important, because it's the most powerful tool that we have. And on the other hand, we have self-expansion, that is how we want to grow in this world. What do we want to create? And again, we use our words. That's why for me, my spiritual path led me to study the Vedic wisdom and mantra yoga, because I feel through the words we can create these realities that are beyond our human nature. I believe that we are divine in nature, and somehow we forgot who we are. We were hearing Dr. Bradley saying that we are only using such a small percentage of our brain, but how can we tap into that powerful unconscious? So I would like to share with you a mantra to connect with that part of the brain that is not so logical and rational, but is more emotional, intuitive. And through these energies of the Sanskrit language, tap into whichever obstacles are coming to your life right now, and make a prayer to overcome these obstacles, to find your inner strength, to go beyond them and see yourself on the other side. Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam, Ganesha Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam, Ganesha Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Ganesha Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam, Ganesha Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam, Ganesha Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Just so beautiful. I'm bringing on some of our friends who were just enjoying your music so much, Daniel. It's just so beautiful. Such beautiful, beautiful music. And Daniel will be back, but I want to take people to his website. And it's his name, Daniel Bellone, Bellone, danielbellone.com. And there's a lot of wonderful things. He's got his new album there. You get to see all the different pictures of Daniel, including my favorite. There he is, Daniel as Krishna. And what a beautiful blue Krishna you make for us all. He's got a lot of wonderful music there, along with his beloved wife. So definitely go to danielbellone.com and pick up his albums, his music. You know, it is so important for us to support our musical artists. It's really, really important. The pandemic has been very, very hard on musicians because so many opportunities to play were taken away. So now that we've moved into an online world, at least for these past 2 years, let's support our artists by buying their albums directly, their music directly from their website. And Daniel, I'm so glad that you were able to join us tonight.
Thank you so much, Scott, for having me. It's a blessing for me to be able to share something that is positive and uplifting with the world right now. So thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward for the rest of the show.
Great. And we'll see you in a little while for your second number. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Oh, wow.
Wow, what a beautiful start to this journey tonight. I mean, just every single person has brought so much love and beauty to our hearts. Daniel, that was just gorgeous. I'm so happy to have met you and to get to experience your beautiful presence. And you're gorgeous. You know, there's just like, you just radiate so much love and happiness, right? So I love that that's what you're sharing with the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
I think that was a beautiful lead in to our next guest, Paulette Pipe, who's going to take us on a little journey into the pink. And I love that Daniel was pink and now you're pink. There's this pink thing going on. That was a perfect setup. And I just want to say, Reverend Paulette Pipe is a meditation teacher, a podcast host, professional sacred space holder, a retreat facilitator, an ordained minister. And she has this distinct and mesmerizing voice and a reputation for leading powerful, heartfelt meditations. And we are going to experience one right now with you. And I'm so grateful that you said yes and that you bring the magic of your presence into this experience tonight. For all that are listening live and to the recording, we're in your hands, my dear Paulette. Take us on a journey.
Thank you so much. It's my joy to be here with everyone. And I hope you're feeling in the pink. And that's the meditation that we're going into today. When I heard about this topic, this theme of healing from the inside out, and I was meditating and reflecting on what we could do to be in keeping with that theme, I brought back to mind an article that I had read, or a passage from an article that I had read, excuse me, that was discussing in a paper published by the College of American Pathologists, and it was called Human Colors, the Rainbow Garden of Pathology, What Gives Normal and Pathological Tissues Their Color. And basically it's this idea, you know, like when you have a test done, you have your organs done, and if they're healthy, they look pinkish in hue. Well, that's what this is referring to. And it was talking about oxygenated blood circulates throughout tissues, giving all organs a pink-red hue. more strikingly observed in the skin, retina, the fresh grey matter of the brain, the red nucleus of the midbrain, the spleen, the placenta, and other organs in the body. So we're going to go through a body meditation from the inside out, literally from our organs out. So that's where we're going right now. And then there's that idiom, that term, in the pink, which refers to when you're at your peak condition of health and well-being. So that's what we're affirming and knowing and visualizing for ourselves in this meditation. So get comfortable as I set up the music that goes with our meditation today. And allow the vibration of the beautiful music that Daniel played to lead us here. Feel it reverberating through your cells, through your body. As you make any micro adjustments that you need to make to become comfortable and present-minded in this moment. Allow yourself to relax, not to inertia or sleepiness, although that's okay too if you fall asleep. But our aim is to stay alert so we can give attention to our body. Let your shoulders drip down from your ears. Unfurrow your brow, soften your forehead, and feel all of your face soften and relax. The corners of your eyes, your eyebrows, your cheekbones and jawline, your chin. Again, check that those shoulders haven't risen back up and softly let them go back down. So you can open your chest, allow your shoulder blades to pinch closer together behind you so we can keep an open chest and breathe in deeply. Exhale fully. And as we let go, as we relax, every part of our being begins to soften some more. All the way down to our toes in our shoes. And perhaps you're feeling unwell, you have some discomfort or symptoms. Bring your attention to that now too. It probably isn't far from your consciousness, but just for a moment, let your mind, your attention rest on where in your body you're experiencing any sensation, any pain, any discomfort. And deliberately exhale your next breath to that place now. Imagine you're breathing out healing energy to that space, to that place, to that discomfort. And now bring your attention to your heart space. let us begin, as most we always do, with the heart. And in your mind's eye, imagine a beautiful pink mist or vibrational energy circulating around your heart, healing your heart from the inside out. Not just your physical organ, but the energy center, where there may be blocks, there may be resistance, there may be walls, but there is love, and love heals all. And allow these words to be the truth of your own intention that I speak on behalf to our hearts. You are the abode of love. You are filled and thrilled with a mighty magnetic force that love uses to do its perfect work, its perfect healing, its perfect release. You are powerful and active as you do your work in the body temple, and only goodness and purity flow through and from you now. Breathe in and exhale. Imagine that pink mist, that pink colored vibration expanding out now to your liver. And imagine your liver is in the pink of health and well-being. From the inside out. And now bring your attention to your stomach and all your intestines and your digestive system. And imagine that pink vibration, beautiful, glistening light energy radiating to your digestive system and your stomach, imbuing it with healing light from the inside out, until every part of your digestive system and your stomach is aglow, is in the pink of health. That radiant pink light infuses your spleen and your gallbladder. From the inside out, healing is established, is radiant, and those organs are in the pink. And now bring your attention to your back and imagine in your mind's eye that this radiant pink energy, this fusion of light and vibration moves to your kidneys. Your kidneys are healed, vibrating this radiant pink hue from the inside out. And now bring your attention to your sexual organs at the base of your body. And visualize this pink energy, this vibration of light circulating around all of the organs and systems and functions, healing, restoring, and renewing from the inside out, so that your sexual organs are now in the pink. Your bladder is now encased in this beautiful energy, this pink healing light, radiating health and well-being from the inside out. It too is in the pink of health. As you breathe in and breathe out, feel this vibration, this pink energy of healing light moving through the torso, up through the esophagus, up to the head, and visualize your brain in the pink, clear, functioning with pure healing energy and light. It too is in the pink, as all aspects of the brain radiate well-being from the inside out. Breathe in, breathe out. Relax a little more deeply. The work of healing is established in the stillness and the silence. So as we move to a moment, a period of stillness where these truths become evident in every aspect of our body and our being, I affirm, touching the stillness of this moment, I breathe deeply and witness self-compassion beckoning me through its open door. Self-compassion ushering me through its open door, and love is on the other side, beckoning me forth to a place of peace and stillness where perfect health, perfect well-being resides. I now step across the threshold into this pink energy of love light and rest and breathe in the stillness of this moment. There is no place where love is not. And as we begin our journey in consciousness back to this time and place, aglow with this light energy within and without, feeling, experiencing, imagining every part of our being in the pink of health and well-being, we bring this energy and this assurance with us, knowing that we can return to this place at any time and visualize and know and speak life to our body, speak life to our organs, speak life to every part of our being, and rest in the healing abode of love. For now, we are conscious once more of the space around us, the sense of peace within us, the clothing on us, and the breath flowing through us. And then bring your hands to prayer position with your thumbs resting on your sternum, and feel the pulse of your heartbeat, the abode of love. From that place of well-being that is in the pink in me, to that place of well-being that is in the pink in you, I now bow. Namaste. Blessed be. Thank you.
Namaste. Take a minute before we put words here. One thing, Paulette, that I have always experienced with you, but today language came for it, is the way in which you speak in these transmissions. There's a command in you, this relationship that as you're speaking those words, that you and we are actually creating something in the field of the universe, in life, that there's a relationship and that you're present to the power of our claiming of it. I just really, really want to acknowledge that in you, and to invite it in ourselves, that we know that as we affirm and as we choose and as we claim, that we're actually creating that manifestation in our relationship to life. So beautiful. Yeah. And Scott, maybe you can bring Paulette's website up, and Paulette, you can share a little bit about, there's some ways that people can be with you, and probably your calendar is a great place to go. You have your Inset Timer event, and do you want to share some of the ways we can stay connected to touching the stillness in you?
Thank you so much. Yes, I have a podcast that comes out every other Tuesday on the first and third Tuesdays of the month, and then on alternate Tuesdays we have the breathing space on Zoom, and that's a 30-minute meditation. But weekly I do, this is the joy of my heart, every week on the Insight Timer app, I hold the community and we have another breathing space, and we hold sacred space, noble silence space. So it's a 45-minute gathering, but we spend 30 of those minutes in silence, holding the space for those who are suffering, those who are in pain, those who are experiencing something that we might hear about in the news, those on our prayer and thought list, and we're holding noble silence for humanity and those who are suffering, including ourselves. And so that's every Wednesday at 1:30 Central Time. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And you
Oh,
know,
and you don't need the app to join us for that. You can find the link here.
yeah, just on the calendar page there. And, you know, just like you were saying, Scott, around, you know, we need to support the musicians and we need to support our ministry. You know, this is a ministry. I give every month to Touching the Stillness because there's something about what Paulette is bringing into the world that I want more of. And so, you know, that's one way that I can actually contribute to the work that she's doing on my behalf. So, you know, if you're feeling inspired by the Pulse, by Awakening Worlds, by Touching the Stillness, all of it, if we all give a little bit to each other, we can keep this current going. So I really want to invite that. And thank you again, Paulette, for bringing us into the pink.
Thank you so much.
And what a perfect transition into Amelie Grace, who will just keep carrying us into this space of the pink. So let's bring Amelie Grace on. And I'm so excited that this is an opportunity for you to bring in this new piece of music live with us. And, you know, I've known Amelie for a long time. And, you know, after 8 years as a ritual improv artist, and she's been creating music in partnership with her partner, Theo Grace, she's going out on her own as a solo artist. And, you know, Amelie is this self-growth innovator and an astrologer, and she really helps to guide people into finding their own way to their own heart and their purpose. And as she dives into the songwriting and composition and music, I think you're finding a new way to express this understanding, this unique understanding you have about what it means to be human. So I am excited for us to hear this new song. And I know that this has awakened something really beautiful in you, Amelie. So we're happy to receive you. Yes. And we'll be hearing from her later in the show too, but this is our opportunity to receive your music.
Oh, thank you so much, T. What a beautiful introduction and what a beautiful show to be here with you all. It's really special, you know, getting to come and share this song for the very first time live. And yeah, this song came out of the transitions that my whole world started to undulate with beginning in 2020. And it was so beautiful to find a craft that I could actually process myself through. So as I share this song, I want to offer it to you as well if you're going through transition. If you, I mean, as we all are, if you find yourself in a difficult passage from one part of your life to another, may this song offer you some medicine. We've come a long way this time, made home a place to be alive, painted our walls with our hands and our minds, open the one door, but I feel the tide rushing in, pulling us apart. We're changing like the ground beneath, no longer solid, calling us to breathe. Life will lead find the rest of me here in my destiny. Layers are coming off, unwinding, clearing the space to be with my longing. Nothing can ever be lost in our lives. What am I here for? I don't wanna leave behind our story. Carry your hearts with mine, unfolding. Nothing can ever be lost in our lives. We've been here before. We've been here before. We've been here before. 'Cause I feel the tide rushing in, pulling us apart. We're changing like the ground beneath, no longer solid, calling us to breathe. Life will lead me onward from where I stand. Guide me toward what I can't imagine. Maybe I'll find the rest of me here in my destiny.
So beautiful. I love that it has this groove that's so you. And also, with Entheo, with you and Theo, all of your music always has lyrics that are so relevant to right now. And, the same with you in your solo artistry coming through. And I'm so grateful. There's some links in the chat, and Scott's going to pull up your website. But Amma, this music was recorded, right? There's a YouTube video out there. So if you kind of like wake up tomorrow morning and you start thinking about Amma and this groove, you can actually click on that link and you can like play the video again and kind of add it to your playlist. And there's more of this music coming, right, Amelie?
There is. Yes, and this website is being rebuilt right now. So, but that's a way to find me. So, yes, all of that.
And besides your music, which I know there's more coming, so there's a link to Entheo Music, which features you, and there's some beautiful stuff there. You also are a guide for people with their astrology, their gene keys. So on that website, we can find some things about some of the ways we can connect with you.
Yeah, you can find some things there. And really, I'm bringing myself out for what feels like the first time. This feels like a placeholder almost for my deep soul work, which is being built right now. So it's very exciting. But yes, please sign up on there if you're interested in my work. And that will be, a mailing list where I can send you things of all the new things that are unfolding.
I love that. I love that there's so much kind of like new beginnings happening. Like Om Heals is launching. Kadi J, who we're going to hear later, is really launching her work. You know, yours is coming out, I think, in that little bit of incubation we've all had. We've been like really claiming what's ours to do. And we're really showing up and going for it. So I'm so excited. Amma, we're going to get more and more of you. Yeah, beautiful. So Scott, I think we're going to turn it over to you for some Global Peace Tribe presents things before we go on to the last part of our show.
We are one. We are one. We are one. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. We are one. One love. We are one. One love. We are one love. Yeah, yeah. One love. One love.
Check 1 2 1 2. Check 1
One love. One love. One love. One love.
One love. Aren't we experiencing that incredible one love? Paulette and Teresa, Shakti Durga, Daniel, Amelie Grace. Each and every one of you are just such beautiful emanations of the one eternal beloved. Thank you so much. I always enjoy this part of the show because this is where I get to promote some of the amazing things that are happening that we want to make sure that everybody knows about. And of course, this Tuesday, for those of you who are into numerology, wow, this will be the only time in our lifetime, 022222. And so that's going to be pretty special. And there are actually several events going on. The first one is going to be a special concert for peace with James Twyman. And it's being carried by Unify. And I want to acknowledge a lot of you right now are watching us on Unify. We're really grateful to our friends at Unify for getting so many of our programs out. They carry all of my shows. I'm really grateful for that. And so 9 o'clock Pacific time, 12 noon, a concert for peace and a meditation for peace. And I actually, I've known James for decades, to be honest. And I did a pre-record video with him on Friday, yesterday. And I'm going to play that for you tonight in our after show. We're going to have a little after show. We might even have one or two of our guests that are here tonight joining us. I'll definitely be there to play the pre-record with James, and we'll learn more about that. Then there's another event happening, and if Christy Michaels is with us for the after show, I'll have her come on and talk about it. But it's the Gospel of Mary Magdalene event. It's all about enlightened relationships. I've been a part of this with her for the last few years, and it's always a beautiful, beautiful event. And we'll talk more about that during the after show, but that's at 6 o'clock on 2/22/22. So definitely make sure that you join us for that. Then I always like to let people know about what's happening next week. You know, every weekend, the Awakening World is here to serve you and to introduce you to all the amazing people that are doing incredible things. And next weekend, we're tackling a really wonderful topic. We're talking about modern day mystics, intimate experiences with the divine. Now, really, probably all of you who are watching this show, I would say, are modern day mystics, and certainly all of our presenters. So we're going to talk about what does that really mean, you know, as we move beyond any particular religion, as we become multi-denominational, as we cultivate our own personal relationship with the divine. How do we do that? What's that look like? And we've got a really diverse ethnic group, which I'm really happy about. One of the things I'm wanting to do with the Awakening World is bring in a lot of different cultures, a lot of different genders, a lot of different ages, and we've really accomplished that next week. So we've got people in their 30s and people in their 70s. Sister Jenna, who wrote this wonderful book on meditation, is going to be with us. Kristen Hoffman, one of our favorite musical artists. And so it's going to be a really special weekend. The Wild Abbot. You've all been wanting to know the truth of who is that modern mystic Jerry Anderson, the wild abbot of the Mystic Monastery, he's going to be with us, and about a dozen others throughout the weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning. Then the last event that I want to, and I'll talk about the Deepak Chopra book event after we hear from Deepak today. So don't worry, Deborah Justi, we'll get to that after Deepak. But we are going to have one other event. Global Peace Tribe, very much in collaboration with Deborah, are now doing approximately 2 events every month. We just had an amazing Valentine's concert with Christian and Cornflower last Monday night. And we're going to have an event on March 20th with myself and my good friend Eden Amadora. And that happens to be, of course, the spring equinox. And as we move into spring, we're going to take people on a journey of really experiencing the renewal of body, mind, and spirit, harmonizing our inner masculine, our inner feminine, clearing out, very much similar to what we heard Dr. Bradley talking about, clearing out that stuff so we can embrace the new season and a wonderful time of abundance, more love in our lives in a myriad of ways. So definitely join us on Sunday, March 20th. And Debbie's putting into the chat box right now the link of how you could register. And if you register right away, we're going to send you not 1, not 2, but 3 gifts. They are pre-recorded videos from Eden and myself that'll take you into some really beautiful places. Also, you'll get the early bird discount. So register and join us on Sunday, March 20th at 2 o'clock. And it's going to be a really, really lovely event. As always, thank you. We're going to continue to let you know about upcoming events and collaborations. You know, there's a way that we're all meeting each other, discovering each other, and supporting each other. And again, I want to thank Teresa Collins for the amazing job she does of bringing so many of our favorite teachers and leaders and musical artists into our consciousness. And one more time, I'm going to bring on Jennifer because I really want to thank you, Jennifer, for putting together this weekend. You've done a fantastic job. So thank you, everybody, and may the show continue.
Scott, let's put a link in the chat for tomorrow's event since we're going to just finish off the weekend. I don't think you mentioned that. And I know we have an opportunity to actually experience some energy healing with some of the Heals practitioners.
Debbie, can you put the Sacred Sunday Zoom room in? Great. Thank you so much. And yeah, Jennifer, you want to tell us again who's going to be joining us tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern, and early in the morning for Shakti Durga in Australia. But we're thinking of you, and we appreciate all of our friends from Australia. We've got people watching our show, by the way, The Awakening World, from all over the world. Even tonight, I noticed we've got people from all over. It's really exciting. Tell us, well, speaking about all over the world, did you know that Jennifer is in Portugal? So Jennifer in Portugal, tell us about what we've got tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much, Scott and Teresa and everyone out there, wherever and whatever time zone you might be joining us from. Thank you for being here with us in spirit and in consciousness. Tomorrow, I'm so excited to share that we have a couple of incredible healers from Om Heals. We have Marcus Brown, who is a wonderful healer. He and I spoke on a metaphysical panel with a dear friend, Rev Reg, a couple of months ago, and he became a healer on the platform, as well as Nicole Forrest. Nicole did a session with a user who said, Jennifer, you know that quote about Maya Angelou of you never know the lives that will be touched? She said the healing that she did with Nicole changed generations going forward for her. So we are so excited to have them both join with us tomorrow, along with a dear, dear friend of mine, Mary Jo Lerai, author, personal development, thought leader. She is going to be talking about some of the other work we can do. There are the energetic components, and then there's the day-to-day tools. How do we connect to ourselves in all of our interactions and tie and bring that through in everything that we do, as well as music from the beloved Tanya Smith, actually from Tasmania, who is a Grammy. She's toured with Kylie Minogue, so she's going to be offering a special musical launch tomorrow that we'll be sharing. So we are so excited, and Cuddy J will also be offering another meditation for us. She's been facilitating beautiful meditations all weekend long as part of this healing from the inside out. And it's funny, as we were going through Paulette's meditation, which was so beautiful, and I put in the chat, Paulette, if there is a way that we can pay for or download that meditation, I would personally love to listen to it every single day as part of my daily practice. It was just so moving. I invite everybody to think the way this healing from the inside out theme came about is one day Teresa and I had talked about collaborating on this, and I had prayed and meditated, and the universe said, you know what we need? We need healing from the inside out. So all beautiful wisdom comes from source, and I think that the more we nurture our relationship with the capital S self, and with the energy of the universe, the God, the oneness, whatever you choose to call it, the greater we are able to be in greater harmony and coherence with ourselves and the world. And I'm so excited. Would you like me to go into introducing our next guest who's about to join us, our musical inspiration? Perfect. I see a thumbs
Just
up.
for one moment, just since you mentioned it, I want to let people know if you do want to go back and listen to Paulette's meditation or any of the sequences, all of these shows are easy to find. You can find them on Facebook, on my profile page. You're going to Love Coach Academy page, or most of all, go to our YouTube channel, the Global Peace Tribe YouTube channel, and we'll put that link in. It's got everything. It's got all of the Saturday Night Lives, all of the Straight Talk shows, all of the Sacred Sunday shows, and I create a playlist at the very top called Dynamic Segments. So you'll hear the best of Reverend Michael Beckwith and Marianne Williamson, and I'll definitely edit Paulette's beautiful meditation and Khadija's beautiful meditation as well. So go to the Global Peace Tribe YouTube channel. We'll put the link in the chat box, or just go to YouTube and put in Global Peace Tribe, and you're going to find a lot of gems there. Okay, take it away, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Scott. And I am delighted to be able to connect you with our next guest, Dr. Ivy of Dr. Ivy Sound Spa, who is a sonic sound healer. She is also a fellow evolutionary leader, of which Scott and Teresa and many others of us are a part of, who is transforming the world through the power of her sound, her love, her grace, and her vibrations that she brings so elegantly. I do recommend that if you are driving, you might want to pull over. I have done healing sessions with Ivy, who's a practitioner with us on om-heals.com, and her sessions drop me straight out of time and space. So be prepared to put pause on space-time as we fall into the loving grace that Dr. Ivy is about to share with us from her sonic sound healing.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I invite everyone to just center yourself and sink deeply into this moment. Feel your breath and let peace enter your soul.
Namah Shivaya.
want to come hang out in your space. I mean, look at all those toys. We could play for hours there.
We certainly could. We certainly
Jennifer,
could.
Jennifer will bring you on. Thank you, Dr. Ivy. Like I said, I only got to experience you the other day for the first time, kind of learning who's coming on, and just fell in love with you. And you have so much rich stuff to share. And that was just sublime. And you know, it's these moments like this when we really choose to show up in the healing field of love together.
Yes.
We're doing that right now. And it just helps us to like trust more and have more courage and command that we can claim this, because here we are experiencing together. So we can't say it's not happening.
It's happening. And it's so interesting how many of us, we selected mantras to sing for this evening's program. So it is something very special in that message, to continue to build on our own practice and to discover that mantra that resonates with the soul. And this one resonated with mine. And I went into the studio to prepare this specifically for this evening.
Bless you.
Thank you so much, Ivy. She has drivysoundspa.com. I've had the privilege of doing energy healing sessions with Ivy and actually met her via Sister Jenna a few years ago. And all of her musical offerings are so deeply profound and healing, as are her healings. Her music in and of itself is healing. And then you add her energy and her counseling abilities and all of the miraculous tools that she has in her tool belt to help us heal from the inside out. I really acknowledge you, Ivy, for the healing work that you do to help the vibration of the world and for bringing justice to the world, social justice. You've received awards for that as well. There are so many accolades that you have, and I just acknowledge the deep commitment that you have for the healing of all of humankind. Thank you, my beautiful friend.
Thank you so much for having me in this beautiful energy of love.
I did not know about your work with social justice, and in 2 weeks, the Awakening World is dedicated, our weekend, to social and racial justice, truth, consequences, and reconciliation. So let's definitely connect about that, because I'd love to have you be a part of that. It's such an abundance of amazing souls and beings. Really, really special. Very, very special. Well, speaking of amazing souls and beings, we get to hear from Deepak Chopra. And I really don't think he needs an introduction. I think almost all of us have read many of his books. We've seen him many, many times. And we were really grateful that Deepak was willing to share with us his thoughts about healing from the inside out. So I've got actually 2 different pre-recorded segments that I did with him. And the first one was when I asked him his thoughts about healing from the inside out. Let's see what he had to say. What do you think is the best foundation for a person to be coming from when they're looking to heal themselves from the inside out?
I think the most important thing to understand for any person looking for healing from the inside out is to understand that the body does that spontaneously. The body has an intricate mechanism for self-regulation. So does the mind. So when the mind and the body and the spirit are integrated as a unified activity for self-regulation, that's healing. And the only thing we do wrong is interfere with what's happening all the time. When I was in medical school, for example, the first 2 lessons are inflammation and homeostasis. Inflammation is the body's response to injury, and it's a healing response. If it goes out of whack, then disease occurs. Now we know that inappropriate inflammation as a result of sympathetic overdrive is actually the number one cause of all chronic illness. Only less than 5% of disease-related gene mutations are fully penetrant. The rest are interference with spontaneous healing, or what we call homeostasis. Lack of sleep, stress, lack of mind-body coordination, lack of movement, improper breathing, fractured relationships, things like depression, guilt, shame, anxiety, fear, hostility, all interfere with the healing response. If you leave everything alone, don't do anything, just get good sleep every day, have healthy emotions, do a little bit of exercise, moderate, 10,000 steps a day, practice mind-body coordination and vagal stimulation through either controlled breathing, pranayama, yoga asanas, or any martial arts or tai chi, qigong, anything that stimulates the vagus nerve. And if you practice any form of meditation that takes you to the source of thought, healing is spontaneous. The word healing comes from the word wholeness, health, wholeness, holy, all mean the same thing. Healing is a return to the memory of wholeness, and what interferes with it is our behavior, which interferes with homeostasis and therefore exaggerated inflammation. That's it. So I have 7 pillars of healing. Number 1, restful sleep. Number 2, restful alertness through meditative practices. Number 3, mind-body coordination. Number 4, exercise, but moderate, not excess. Number 5, emotional resiliency, emotional intelligence, nonviolent communication. Number 6, balancing of biological circadian rhythms. And number 7, spiritual practices for self-awareness. That's it.
Beautiful. So Deepak is going to do a special 90-minute program with us. And Deborah Justi's made this happen, and it's going to be really unique. And we're doing it Zoom meeting style, similar to last night and tomorrow morning. So that means that people can turn their cameras on and interact with him. And here's a little video that I want to show that talks about the book launch that's going to be happening on March 7th. And then we're going to hear more from Deepak. But let's take a look at what's going to be happening on this very special book launch with Deepak, 90 minutes with Deepak on March 7th.
Hello, my friends. I'm so happy to be with you again. Today's topic is quantum healing. And
I started the quantum healing one. We've got all these videos here. Let me pull up the book launch instead. Here we go.
Abundance is the nature of the universe. In every seed is the promise of thousands of forests.
Global Peace Tribe is going live with New York Times best-selling author Deepak Chopra on Monday, March 7th, 2022.
The book was inspired by a quote from Bob Marley, which said, some people are so poor, all they have is money. I decided to write a book based on that quote. Abundance in all its forms includes security and safety. It includes sensual and sensory delight. It includes the progressive realization of worthy goals. It includes the ability to have love and compassion. It includes creative expression, insight, intuition, imagination, higher consciousness, and ultimately it includes transcendence. If you understand those principles, which in Eastern wisdom tradition are the 7 chakras, which are centers of awareness, and if you learn to activate those centers of awareness, you can have all the abundance in your life that you want at every level, not just money.
Dr. Chopra will offer his vibrant wisdom and summarize valuable keys to success for manifesting wealth on all levels. He'll also lead us in a guided meditation, and he'll answer your questions. Registration for this event includes admission, your copy of the book, and also a replay of the book launch live recording.
If you're not experiencing abundance, you've confused net worth with self-worth. If you have real self-worth, your net worth will be a byproduct of it.
Don't miss this chance for a close personal experience with Deepak Chopra on Monday, March 7th, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Register at deepaksbooklaunch.com or at our main website, globalpeacetribe.com. And remember to tell your friends. You won't want to miss this very special gathering.
Thank you so much for asking me to join this conversation. Very grateful to you.
So there you have it. Definitely join us. For those of you in the Zoom room, she's Debbie, the wonderful Debbie Johnston, is putting the links of where you can register. And again, it's on March 7th, and it's a chance for you to ask personal questions from Deepak. So please do join us. Okay, now I'm going to show the video of Deepak talking about quantum healing, which of course is so dynamic. So here we go. Let's see what he has to say.
And I believe there are a lot of luminaries participating, so very happy that quantum healing has become mainstream. So before I say anything, I should just mention that I originally used this word in 1988. I originally coined the expression quantum healing with this book that I wrote in 1988. And it was vilified. It was criticized by mainstream, and I was attacked by many people for using this phrase, quantum healing. Since then, Dr. Amit Goswami has used this phrase. Dr. Amit Goswami is a physicist, and now many years later, 1988, so it's 2022, so we can say 30 years later, quantum healing has been reissued with an introduction by Dr. Rudy Tanzi, who is a geneticist at Harvard and a neuroscientist. With all the knowledge that we have today about epigenetics, I think we can say quantum healing has become mainstream. But most people don't actually understand that the phrase quantum healing is used metaphorically, as is everything that we do in science. Scientific explanations are models for experienced reality. And experienced reality comes only in the form of sensations, perceptions, images, feelings, and thoughts. Once again, every experience you have is either a sensation or a perception or an image or a feeling or a thought. And of course, these have their source in pure consciousness. So if we understand consciousness as the ontological primitive, then we realize that everything that we call a physical entity is actually a phenomenon. Everything that you call a physical entity is a phenomenon. So my body looks physical, but it's a phenomenon. It's an intermittent stream of sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. That's all it is. And it is not a constant entity. So everyone's body begins as a fertilized ovum, and then it becomes a zygote, and then an embryo, and then an infant, and then a baby, and a toddler, and on, baby, infant, toddler, teenager, adult, and gets older, and then finally dies. So where is the body here? Which body do you have? If you say, I have a body, then which one? The body is an activity. It's a verb. It's not a noun. And the experience of the body is an intermittent stream of sensations, images, feelings, thoughts, period. Okay. What about the mind? The mind is also an intermittent stream of thoughts and emotions. So we said, do you have a fixed mind? Obviously not. The mind has been defined as an embodied and relational process that regulates the flow of energy and information in the body, but the body itself is also both embodied and relational. We don't have a fixed body. Okay, every time you look at a body, it's like taking a selfie and forgetting the self. Literally, also, when you define somebody's personality, it's like taking a selfie of their mind and calling it the self. The self is much more than mind and body. It's the source of all experience. And body and mind are one unit. So just like wave and particle are one unit, mass and energy are one unit, space and time are one entity, so is body and mind, but it's an entity that's a phenomenon, even though it appears as a form. So this is true, by the way, of everything. Every form is a phenomenon, and every phenomenon, at least as far as our biology is concerned, is the arising and subsiding of an intermittent stream of sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. Now, once we understand that, then we can also see that these experiences, this is what we call experience. Sensation is an experience. Hardness, softness, brightness, color. These are all sensations or sense perceptions. But as we look at any form, we'll see that the form itself is the arising and subsiding of sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. And what is the source? The source is pure consciousness. So what is quantum healing? It is going to the source. Okay. The source of thought is also the source of perception. It's also the source of emotions. It's also the source of any experience. It's also the source of how we define things. So labels and descriptions and metaphors, all, where are they conceived? In consciousness. So consciousness conceives, governs, constructs, and becomes everything that we call reality, including the reality of our body and our mind. And when we go to this source through meditation, and there are many ways to meditate. My new book, Total Meditation, goes into the whole range of meditative practices, including self-reflection, self-inquiry, understanding the role of emotional intelligence and self-regulation, understanding the meaning of joy, empathy, compassion, love, truth, goodness, beauty, harmony, but most importantly, understanding that when we go to the source of thought, then we encounter the source of all experience. And if we don't interfere with that, that is the source of what we call quantum healing. Now, in physics, of course, the word quantum means the smallest indivisible unit of energy, in which waves of energy are emitted or absorbed. But using it as a metaphor for the body, a quantum of experience is what we call a qualia, quality of awareness. So colors, shapes, forms are all qualia, as are tastes and smells and textures and sounds, but also emotions, thoughts, feelings, and even imagination. They're all qualia. Qualia means qualities of awareness, which means awareness, pure consciousness, modifying itself as those experiences. By modifying our experiences in the direction of truth, goodness, beauty, harmony, love, compassion, joy, equanimity, but most importantly, through transcendence of all experience. So experience can be perception of the world, it can be interoception, knowing what's happening inside the body, but it can also be emotions or feelings and thoughts, and all these are entangled with each other, and they're all modified forms of pure consciousness. So what is pure consciousness? Pure consciousness has the following characteristics. Number one, it's a field of infinite possibilities. Number two, it's a field of non-local correlation, which means everything is correlated with everything else. Today, we also call that entanglement, synchronicity, superposition. But basically, everything is inseparably one with everything else. And number three, pure consciousness is unpredictable. We can't say what our next thought will be or our next experience will be. Number four, pure consciousness is infinitely creative because it is unpredictable. Direct correlation between unpredictability and creativity. And finally, it's the source of attention and intention. So once we understand these are the qualities of pure consciousness, we can modify pure consciousness into any experience through a combination of sensations, images, feelings, thoughts, perceptions. The key is transcendence, going beyond thought, going beyond the secret passages, the dark alleys, the ghost-filled attics of the mind, and going to the source of all experience, and then abiding there with a subtle intention. In yogic traditions, this is called Dharna. Dharna means focused awareness, focused attention. Dhyan, which means meditation, and Samadhi, which means transcendence. This is the key. If we can do that, and this also has a Sanskrit word for it, it's called sankalpa. Sankalpa means subtle intention. So unlike the Western ontological frameworks that we have about reality, where the ontological primitive of the universe is matter, we in the Eastern wisdom traditions say that matter is just a convenient metaphor for modified forms of consciousness. And the key to healing is actually getting to the source. That includes social and emotional intelligence, that includes withdrawal of the senses, that includes controlled breathing, that includes mind-body coordination through yogasanas, but it also includes interoception, which is withdrawal of the senses. And then dharna, dhyan, samadhi. These are the 8 limbs of practice that get us to the source of all experience. In that source of all experience is least entropy. And there is homeostasis. Homeostasis means self-regulation, which means hormones are being self-regulated, immune function is being self-regulated, everything, body temperature is being regulated. So if you want to use a simple word for quantum healing, it would be the return to the memory of wholeness, or return to homeostasis, or return to source, or return to the presence of being. Now, of course, there are a lot of nuances, and I outlined them in my books on meditation, which include understanding the whole totality of awareness, awareness of 5 senses, awareness of the body, awareness of the interior of the body, awareness of mental space, awareness of the web of relationship, awareness of the ecosystem, which we call the biosphere, of which we are an expression, and ultimately awareness of awareness. And when we get to that, then we are holy, we are whole, and we are healed. And that healing is ultimate healing. It means we find freedom in our inner being and understand that our inner being, our true self, is independent of all experience. It's independent of anything that we can call a perception or a sensation or an image or a thought. And in that freedom is wholeness, self-regulation, the return of the memory of who we really are. The word whole, the word healing, and the word whole, healing, whole, are the same. When we return to presence, to source, we are holy and we are healed. And at that moment, there is transcendence. We experience our true nature as beyond space-time and causality. We also experience the emergence of Platonic values like truth, goodness, harmony, and we lose the fear of death because the true self is not subject to birth and death. The true self is formless, and being formless, it is infinite and is constantly modifying itself into finite experiences. But as long as we are aware that every finite experience has a source in the infinite, and that infinite source of being is actually the true self beyond our ego mind beyond our socially constructed identity as an ego body mind squeezed into the volume of a body or the span of a lifetime. When we go beyond that, we are healed. That's what quantum healing is. So all the best, my friends. Join this whole movement of understanding that the physical body is actually a projection of the subtle body, and the subtle body is a projection of the causal body, and the causal body itself is the projection of infinite, formless, unbounded, eternal, timeless being, which is our inner self. Thank you, and God bless.
Well, thank you, Deepak. I mean, is that deep enough? Right? I mean, it's like very deep, very deep. And I really loved how similar some of what he was saying was to what Dr. Bradley was talking about. So for anybody who wants to kind of catch that and listen to it again, it will be in our dynamic segments playlist on the YouTube channel. And of course, on the entire show. This entire show will be on our YouTube channel. But really fascinating. These incredible, brilliant minds, absolute brilliant minds of Dr. Brad and Deepak and everybody we've heard. So, and speaking of brilliant minds, I'm going to turn over to Teresa to introduce Amelie in a moment. But I was talking to a mutual friend who said, "Have you had Amelie on your show yet?" I said, "Yeah, she's actually going to be on this Saturday night." She goes, "Do you know she's a genius? She's a great musical artist, but do you know she's a genius?" So we have the genius of Deepak, the genius of Dr. Brad, and we're about to have the genius of Amelie. I'll bring her on. And anything you want to add, Teresa?
I did want to just say something about Deepak, having that experience of listening to him. What a brilliant man, right? Like the pieces that he laid down. I wished he would breathe in between each one of his sentences.
Yeah.
Because each one was so potent, and together they gave you a focus for your awareness. Like that's what he was providing, this awareness of ourselves as a quantum being. But I really wish that he would actually just breathe between each one. And what it does is it makes you saying, "Oh, I really want to go read his book," because then I can actually take those things in, right?
You're absolutely right. In fact, I actually had our editors add 45 lower thirds on the first segment about insight, just because of that. It's like he rattles off so quickly this wisdom, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think that's why his book sells so well.
Yeah. So let's love Deepak up. I mean, he has been consistent for so long, and he has a book launch. And I know Deborah would really love all of our help. Global Peace Tribe, Coherence Pulse, Unify, all of our help to get the message out about his book launch so that we can show up and shower our love onto Deepak and help everyone have more abundance of love and joy and presence and all of it. So let's commit to that. Let's share it and tell everybody about it. And that's a way we can say thank you for a lifelong legacy of saying quantum healing, and people are saying, "No way, dude." So thank you, Deepak. Thank you
for that, Teresa. Thank you. Yeah. And let's face it, this might be the last opportunity we ever get to be that close and up close and personal and right there in the same Zoom room, meeting room with Deepak. It's a pretty amazing thing.
Yeah. And it's just that we're all launching new things like Amma. Let's bring her on. So she's going out on her solo career. She is presencing herself as a thought leader, and to be able to provide spaces where we all just show up and say, "Yeah, we're going to show up and we're going to be there for you and we're going to bless you and we're going to, call forth your genius." So the other thing I love about Amelie is that she listens to everything that's going on, and all of a sudden there is a really fun story that comes on the other side. So I'm excited for you to share yourself. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks to both of you, Scott and T, for introducing me. And oh my gosh, I agree. Just I'm looking at Deepak, I'm like, oh my God, it's just all in there and it just keeps coming and it all makes connections. And it's just like, wow, it's so incredible. Yeah. So, I mean, so much incredible wisdom has been shared here today, and I know yesterday and in all these events. And, you know, one of the things that I think it was Shakti who shared earlier was that connecting to essence is healing. And I feel that so deeply in what Deepak was just sharing about, is we're getting down to the essence of what we are, what we're made of. And just how, I'm forgetting the emotion code, Dr. You all know his name.
Bradley Nelson.
Yes, Bradley Nelson. How he was talking about like this process of unraveling these layers around what is the interference to life just doing what it knows how to do. I mean, when we look at 4 billion years of evolution, the complexity that life sustains, that it regulates, in every second, the fact that we exist, it's like if we can become partners in that experience, just, you know, and there's such a naturalness and such an emergence. And that's kind of where I'm tracking, is that here we are, humans, planet Earth, whole eco-organism of planet Earth in a phase transition. We are moving from one evolutionary stage to another. And this is happening at large scales, large epoch level mutations. And so here we are at this like crux, and how amazing that the pandemic was such a powerful, contributor, came in and destabilized so much and helped to reconfigure and shift the parameters, shift the conditions through which our life was organized. That is what allows for a phase shift, a phase transition, is that the parameters start to shift, and now all of a sudden life is like organizing itself into some new form. It's not that there's new information coming through, although preserved knowledge over eons is very supportive in regulating ourselves through times of transition and crisis. But it's that we are actually changing the form of our structures itself to allow for a greater organization and then an emergence of something new. So I just want to bring in here how part of what I track, and when I think about becoming whole or healing from the inside, becoming whole from the inside, for me, it involves this deepening understanding of the self. That's my focus. I'm so interested in the psyche and understanding how the soul can come into greater integrity and coordinated integrity, because it's not just ego. There's so much nuance, as Deepak was sharing, of the qualia of so many different kinds of experiences that follow certain patterns. The Neo-Confucius Chinese philosophers talked about this as the Li, the underlying pattern that actually all chi just follows the same patterns. So when we see ourselves as living systems, when we understand the world as, myriad, so infinite nested living systems, all coordinating their efforts to become this complex, ordered, incredible body of creation and love, then we start to see how, oh my gosh, our psyche is made up of all these parts. And so for me, I think of the color palette, the wheel of the 12 colors around in the color wheel, or like the 12 notes in the Western music scale. It's like these certain tonalities that are essences of life. And we have been so distorted in our essences. They're either muddled and they get all caught up with each other. They're all vying for our attention to get their thing. It's like, no, red. But then it's like, whoa, red, I can't even understand your core. Like, what do you mean? And so what I think we're starting to evolve into is we're updating our operating system. We're becoming conductors, which I love that word conductor, because we conduct. When we conduct our experience, like T, when you were reflecting to Paulette, how she commands through her voice. When we conduct our energies, we conduct energy. And we become creators. And so I work a lot with the parts of the psyche, like for instance, there's a part of me that wanted to plan every little word that I was going to say. And it's very into details and wants to write down quotes. And then there's a part of me that's like, whoa, open to the mystery of all the information that could possibly channel through unknowingly. And these two might want to take over and tell me the way that it should be. But if I can step back and transcend, like Deepak was just sharing about, transcend it, we're evolving to step out into a new place where we can actually, from a different vantage point, hold multiple truths, multiple energies at one time. And in that holding of these energies, that to me is emergence. That's the torque of evolution. So the last, I just like riff on. So I know I just have just a few minutes here, so I'm going to complete in touching into how at the basis of life itself has been understood to be this force of negentropy, negative entropy. It takes all things that are moving toward entropy, like death, and the counter force of inertia. And it's actually rubbing up against that and converting entropy into more life that furthers existence. So we are all converters of energy. We're energy transformers. We're really good at it. We would not exist the way we do if we weren't really good at that. And I think there's all this prima materia in our systems, like these emotional blockages and things that are just these places that if we can turn toward and make relations to these parts of ourselves, these bound patterns of energy and information that have been stuck in their own little story, we actually get to transform that into the thrust. So we're evolving our ability to evolve. And evolution is just coming up with more sophisticated ways of converting this entropy into the thrust of life itself. So, thank you.
That was so fun, Amelie. It's so wonderful to feel that it's just time for you to really share your wisdom. I mean, you have been over the years. We've done lots of things where we've been able to experience the way that you authentically are inside of the psyche of life and really claiming it and moving through it and talking about it as you're doing it so you can help guide other people through it. It's just real. And, right now, because Amelie doesn't have her new website up with all the things, if you go there and you just sign up for her email list, that's like,
down at the
just do
bottom.
that one thing, right? Just do that one thing. Then as she releases new songs and she offers some courses that she's going to do and the things that she's ready to bring out, then we'll be able to get a notice of that and support it and participate in it.
Yay.
Right?
And if you scroll
Right.
down to the very bottom of the website, there's a little drop. You can just drop here. And thank you so much, T, and thank you to this beautiful community. Wow, what you've cultivated here is it's a treasure. Thank you.
I love that line. Pretty much your closing line. We are evolving the ways that we can evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, this is a great segue into Kadi J, who also, like Amelie, has been offering her love into the community for a long time in different ways, and is really claiming her role in helping people find their way to meditation and across that bridge into a commitment to their own self-cultivation. And she's part of our cohort team in the Islands of Coherence. She offers so much to the community, and you'll be able to experience right now Kadi J just guiding us in a little meditation. And then Daniel's going to take us into some music. And I want to let everybody know that Kadi J's got some courses and some 7-day challenges and things that she's offering. Scott, maybe we bring that up first, because I'd love to go from her meditation into Daniel and not break that up, but right now share. This is someone who's offering a 7-day challenge, a 22-day challenge. She does meditations once a week. She does a gratitude meditation every month. Just some beautiful, beautiful offerings. And there's a link there for you to go and see. And Kadi J, why don't you just say something about this now? And I'm happy for you. I'm super excited for you. I want to really support you to get out into the community that needs you. And this is a really wonderful way for you to do that.
Thank you so much, Teresa. And thank you to everyone who's here this evening and listening to the recording, or, you know, on Facebook or wherever you're viewing this from. So I've just felt really called to share, just listening to these beautiful conversations about this topic of healing from the inside out, how I really have come to my healing journey. And that was through taking this deep dive into my own spirit, into my own soul, diving into the shadow, the darkness, the pain, and really being willing to work through it at every step, right? Just continuously doing the work. And also recognizing through that work that healing is not a linear process, right? It's not just a straight line. It's, you know, ups and downs. And we have our moments where we feel really good and we know we've healed stuff. And then, you know, and then something else bubbles up. But if we aren't conscious and aware of what's bubbling up, then we just suppress it back down. And then the healing doesn't take place. And so for me, I feel so called to take people on journeys into their own spirit, their own heart, into that inner world where that healing really takes place, where we get to know ourselves a little bit better, where we get to feel our hearts expand a little wider. And we can really, really be who we came here to be. And so with that, I'd just like to take you on a little journey with this meditation.
Before you start your journey, I just really wanted to give the website address so people really can lock in, because we do want to support you. And it's an easy website name to remember: journeyintothesoul.com. Now, come on, we all want to take a journey into the soul. So let's all remember that. Go to journeyintothesoul.com, and then you can pick what meditation journey you want. So thank you. And now go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Scott. So I'm just going to mute myself while I set up my music, and then we'll begin.
After Kadi J finishes the meditation, Daniel, feel free to just kind of come in with your music so that we can just use your music to just deepen that, and then we'll come back. Sound good? All right.
Okay, here we go. So at this time, I'd like to invite you to go ahead and become comfortable, either seated in your favorite position or laying down on a comfortable surface. And just gently allow your eyes to close and bring your awareness to your inner world. that space within the inner body. Gently allow your breath to become just a little deeper, just a little slower than you normally breathe. And really feel as this breath moves in and out of your body, bringing your body into a natural state of relaxation and comfort. Inviting each breath to be just a little deeper than the last. And maybe even letting your exhale extend out just a little longer than the inhale. Letting the body relax and feeling at ease in this moment. And if you feel that your mind is trying to distract you in another direction, just gently observe whatever's there without judgment. And then bring your focus of awareness back to your breath, letting your attention settle on that space of deep breath in and out of the body. Using this breath as a portal into this present moment. Allowing yourself, your true self, to be here now. Not worrying about the past or the future, but just surrendering to the breath in this moment. Still breathing deep, still breathing slow, still letting your attention settle here now. Feeling the body relax, feeling at ease and comforted in this space of peace and presence. As you continue to breathe in this way, deeply and softly and slowly, I invite you to bring your attention, your awareness of your breath, to your heart space, that sacred space in the center of your chest. Bringing each breath into this space in your body and feeling your heart expand. Feeling the love that emanates from your heart as you breathe. Once more, not letting your mind or your body distract you in another direction, but just bringing total awareness to your breath and your heart. Breathing deep, breathing slow, feeling the expanse of your beautiful heart, feeling showered in the divine love that holds you now. With each breath, surrendering just a little more to this expansion, dissolving into this moment of grace, of peace, of divine love. Feeling the comfort of your heart relax and soothe your body. Feeling the comfort of your heart bring you into a space of safety. Still breathing deep, still breathing slow, still breathing into your sacred heart and surrendering to the unknown. Feeling held and at peace with this moment right here. As you continue to breathe in this way, feeling the expanse of your heart, feeling the love emanating from within, let this love wash over your entire body, renewing, refreshing, and healing all the particles and cells that make up the beautiful being that you are. Relaxing just a little more, surrendering love as it moves through your entire body. Letting this love uplift you, refuel you, and help you feel loved, appreciated, and cared for in this moment, right now. Once more, inviting your breath to be just a little deeper and slower, feeling the expanse of your heart and the divine love coursing through your entire body. Feeling nourished with this love and safe in the arms of the divine. Now, while still holding this deep breath in the presence of your heart, I invite you to gently begin bringing your awareness back into your physical space, staying rooted in this divine love, staying rooted in the presence of your sacred heart. Calling your attention back to the physical space in which you reside. Letting yourself stay in this relaxed and peaceful state as you bring your attention back. And if you feel called, you may open your eyes and just take a moment while still breathing deep, while still breathing slow, to observe your physical surroundings without judgment, just from a state of presence and love.
Devi Saraswati Prano Devi Saraswati 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 Saraswati, Saraswati, Prano Devi Saraswati, Vajivir Vajinivati, Dinamavitriyavatu, Bhaktavye Swaha. Devi Saraswati Vajivir Vajinivati Dinamavitriyavatu Bhaktavye Swaha Bhaktavye Swaha Swaha Bhaktavye Swaha Prano Devi Saraswati Vajivir Vajinivati Dinamavitriyavatu Bhaktavye Swaha Prano Devi Saraswati Vajivir Vajinivati Dinamavitriyavatu Bhaktavye Swaha Bhaktavye Swaha Bhaktavye Swaha Bhaktavye Om Saraswati Saraswati Om Bhaktavye Swaha स्वाहा भक्तिभिः स्वाहा
It was just the perfect combination of Khadijah and your beautiful meditation, and Daniel coming in with your beautiful music. Like, what a lovely way to kind of draw everything that we all experience together into that just juicy place. And I'd love to, if we could bring up Khadijah's website one more time. And actually, I would love for you to take a minute, Khadijah, and share these offerings that you have been putting a lot of love into so people know how to connect with you.
Yeah. Okay. I just actually want to thank everyone for being here, because there's something so powerful about the energy of meditating in a group and being together in that space of coherence and love. And so when we join together like this, I say this often on my Friday meditations, but when we join together like this, we really are changing the vibrational frequency of the earth. And we are rippling out our love into the hearts of all those that it comes into contact with. And with that, we are creating true and lasting change. And to me, this is the only way that we can really create change, is by starting with us and rippling it out. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody who's spoken tonight, who's here, just thank you for being here. And so I can share a little bit about these offerings. So this coming Monday, I'll be starting a 7-day challenge. This is called Stepping into Stillness. It's an introduction into meditation for anybody who's new to meditation. But at the same time, it's an opportunity for those who have been practicing for a while to return to those simple practices of the breath, of focusing on the heart, of our inner awareness in our body, right? So, and also for those who have been meditating for a while, it's an opportunity to help hold that space for those who maybe are a little more uncomfortable or a little afraid of meditating for the first time. And so I invite anyone and everyone to participate, because I really feel like there's something in it for everyone. It is a 7-day challenge, and there's, along with the live meditation each day, there will be a daily practice and an affirmation that comes along with that. And then on the 7th of March, I'll actually be starting something that I'm calling the Journey Within. It's a deep dive into your inner world. And this has been in creation for some time. I think I started talking to Teresa about it a year ago, and I'm finally ready to bring it out and birth it into the world. And so this is going to be a 22-day, very intense journey into your own inner body, into yourself, into your psyche, into that subconscious mind, to really kind of uncover the blocks and the things that maybe are holding you back, holding us, it's really for all of us, holding us all back from living that life we want to live. And this is really for those that are ready to really go very deep, and that are willing to spend the time on the processes that are going to be engaged throughout the whole 22 days. Along with the daily meditation and affirmations and practices, once a week, there will be a live mentoring session where we'll get together and you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. We'll have discussion and dialogue, and really just help take you even deeper on your journey. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. We're celebrating what you're birthing into the world. And Daniel, your music was sublime tonight. I'm so glad that you introduced us to Daniel, Scott, and your beautiful music, and love to hear how we can support you and stay connected to you.
Thank you so much. Well, most of my music, it's available on Spotify, Apple Music, whichever streaming service you use. And I have a Bandcamp where most of the fans or people who would like to support my music can actually buy the songs. Nowadays, music mostly is streaming, so we don't get anything out of it. But I think it goes beyond monetary compensation. Anything that you can get in this world is, like we were talking here, this vibration that really connects us with the soul. And it's also a beautiful energy that goes and comes back as abundance, like Deepak Chopra was saying. This abundance has so many forms and ways to reach us. So I'm so glad to be here sharing with all of you, and this amazing meditation was a perfect setting for the music to happen. So thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much, Khadija.
God, could you just bring on all of the guests so we can just like close out this part, so then you can move into our show. But let's bring on Amelie and Jennifer and Shakti and Ivy and Paulette. Oh, what a beautiful field of love we co-created together, modeled it, claimed it, like gloriously. So beautiful, so beautiful. Thank you, everyone. And Jennifer, blessings to you and the launch of Om Heals, and thank you for helping to bring all of us together in all the ways that you do.
Yeah. Go get some good rest, Jennifer. I do want to invite all of our people watching on Facebook, on YouTube, and in the Zoom room, stick around because we've got a few more wonderful surprises for you in the after show. Teresa, I love collaborating with you. It's always really powerful, and each one gets even better and better. And all of our wonderful presenters, each and every one of you, is such a beautiful emanation of the eternal beloved. Thank you so much.
Bless you all. Bless you all in your healing from the inside out.
And now we are going to begin what we call the after show. For the after show, we've got some wonderful things that are going to take place. I think that Shakti Durga, who's still with us, might be available to answer a question or two. People are saying, we loved hearing you sing, but we want to hear you speak. So thank you for staying with us all the way from Australia. And I'd just love to open it up to anything you want to share, anything you want to reflect on what you heard tonight, or anything you'd like to share.
Thank you very much, Scott, and thanks for the opportunity to be on this program with all these luminous souls. I think one of the things that really struck me this evening was just the diversity and the way that there's a flavor for everybody. We're all somewhere on the path, and the path is not the same for everybody. Everybody has a unique path, and there's a deep end to the path, there's a shallow end to the path, there's a middle bit, there's a bit where you're in the rapids, there's a bit where you're going over a waterfall. There's so many different experiences on the spiritual path, and that's my passion, is the spiritual path, actually, and that's what a lot of my work is about, supporting people who actually identify with being on a spiritual path. But what I really saw tonight was so many different colors and flavors of divine grace. And what I would say to the people who are watching this is to really just listen internally to the flavors that really spoke to you, and really follow it up and dive in with those particular presenters, so that you can just get the next bit, and then another piece will open. And we just have to follow the breadcrumbs on a spiritual path to get to that place where peace is, and to reach that place inside of us where the peace has always been. And so whatever the breadcrumbs look like for you, I think there was a lot on offer here this evening, and I'm real grateful to have been involved.
Shakti Durga, I want to ask you another question, if I may.
Yeah.
Because I want to acknowledge that, it's a love fest, and most of us are really feeling, but I want to acknowledge anybody who's watching who's not feeling, they're not feeling that same level of inclusion. Maybe they're feeling isolated. Maybe they're feeling disconnected, because that's out there too. Maybe they're disillusioned and even wondering, how can there be a God? How can there, with all this that's going on, because life is hard for some people. So what would be your message or your invitation to anybody who's in that particular state of consciousness or close to that?
I think that one of the main things to do is to be open to the opportunities for help that are available and to take them. The first thing is, it's like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's a very old truth. And so for somebody who's feeling miserable, and as I said earlier or last night, that's how my journey started, was because of pain. That's how I got on my spiritual path. And I think a lot of us do. So if you're feeling like that, you're not alone and you're normal. So just reaching out to the color and flavor of the person who you feel has got something, some kind of code or key for you, and start where you're at and just take one step. That's what I would suggest, just one step, and that will lead to something else.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Anything else you'd like to share that's kind of coming through that beautiful channel that you are?
I think to just take a moment for the deep appreciation of self, and that when we first start on the path, I think we look at people who've been practicing for a long time, like Kaji or Debbie or you, Scott, or Teresa or Jen, or any of the presenters, and you think, oh, wow, look at that. Isn't that amazing? But I really take the view that if we can actually perceive that, then that is in the process of waking up within us, and it's already in us. And so you're really just looking in a mirror, and you're really seeing an aspect of self in anything that has inspired you during this whole program. And so just remember that you're one with us. We're all one, and we're in it together. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And it is so important, and it really is true. That's why Teresa and I have been so dedicated to doing these shows, is to really build community and to let people that have been feeling isolated have a place to come and meet you and meet Paulette and meet all the wonderful people and get some inspiring music and hear some inspiring words and learn about the things that are going on in our world that are, our news media, of course, focuses on all the negative. And there's so many beautiful, positive things that are happening. There's so many amazing human beings and organizations coming forward to create this awakening world that we are all a part of.
Right. And I would remind people that we do offer free lift sessions on our site, thewbi.org, the Wellbeing Initiative, thewbi.org. And that if you're struggling, if you're feeling depressed or anxious, or you've got a lot of pain or relationship problems, then we offer to those who are struggling financially, we have a charitable program where the healings are free. And so there's no financial reason why you can't get the help you need. All you have to do is push the buttons on the website and let us know. And our staff will be in the office. It's Sunday here in Australia, so our staff will be back in the office on Monday. We're closed Tuesday and open Thursday through Friday. Email is a good way to contact us, and you can do that through the website. And you can also apply for lift sessions through that website. And we take the view that those who can afford to pay are supporting those who can't afford to pay. And so it's one of those lovely giving type situations.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for doing that. And again, I'm going to just give people it's the WBI.org. WBI standing for Wellbeing Initiative. The WBI.org. And it's just click book a lift or apply here. Or if you feel inspired, donate. For those of you that are abundant, donate now. For those of you who aren't abundant, come to the March 7th Deepak Chopra event to learn more about being abundant, okay?
Good idea.
Thank you so much, Shakti Durga.
My
I
pleasure.
love that you really brought that home, Shakti, around there were so many offerings tonight, and I know different people resonated with different ones. And that's the whole point of us having these shows like this, Scott, or the Pulses, where we're introducing to people to the field, to our community, to the resources that we all are together. And we know we can make it when we're together. And we know just one step, like you said, that's all you need is one step. Reach out for one bit of help, and that starts the journey. So thank you for that.
There's a question here. Dr. Laura asks, if you don't mind, Shakti Durga, could you please ask Shakti Durga if she has any words of wisdom for handling the chaos of our time? Hope is a bit elusive right now. Do you have any pearls?
Well, it's chaotic, all right. But I think in every age one could have incarnated into, there's a certain degree of chaos going on in the world. And I think that the mystical seekers throughout the ages have all found in common that the way to find that peace is internally. And when we can find that peace internally, whether it's through meditation or healing or whatever it is that takes your interest, it takes some practice to find that peace, but that over time we can hold our peace and go back to the peace faster, even when there's situations going on all around us that are very difficult to deal with, be it personally or transpersonally, locally or globally. So inwards is the way, a bit like what Deepak was saying earlier.
Yeah, I'm a strong believer in the attitude of gratitude. No matter what's going on in our life, we can always find something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And the moment we start blessing another person or being grateful for something, it changes our vibration, it changes our frequency. And of course, all of us have something that we're in pain about or discomfort. And not to stuff it, acknowledge the pain, acknowledge the discomfort, but then pivot into gratitude, pivot into or blessing another person. It changes our frequency.
Yeah. One other thing I would add is that our attention can get taken by the fear paradigms, and then we can get locked into and even trapped by those fear paradigms. But nature can help us to get out of that. And another way that I find very good for myself anyway is connecting with nature. And even to just switch my focus from, I've just watched the news. Now I'm going to watch the forest outside my home. I'm just going to watch the birds. I'm going to watch the trees. I'm just going to see what's happening in the reality in which I myself am living in this moment. And very often I find that very soothing and calming, and it's something any of us can do.
That's great advice. I'm going to bring Kari Ji on. Anything that she wants to add, and I also am going to put the spotlight for a moment, actually, on Debbie Johnston, she's such a wonderful support person. She is the person who's been putting all the links for everybody into Facebook and our Zoom room. So let's all just take a minute to twinkle Debbie. Thank you so much, Debbie, for all the support that you give to the Global Peace Tribe. We love you.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much.
With one hand, by the way, she broke her wrist, so she's doing it all with one hand. God bless her soul. That's her dedication. So
that's why there's a few typos, but thank you for bearing with me.
Oh, thank you, Debbie. We love you so much. Kadiji, anything that you'd like that stood out for you tonight, or that you'd like to reflect?
Yeah, actually, I just was listening to Shakti Durga. I just really felt this overcoming sense to share about our body's reaction, right, to unhealed trauma, right, or unhealed past pains, right? And for me in my own healing journey, anytime I have anything going on with my body, like even this week, I've had something going on with my neck, and I know that has to do with my throat chakra and has to do with my fear of being vocal, of bringing my voice to the world, which goes from way, way, way back when I was a kid, and from not being accepted or not being heard or whatever the reasons were. And so now as I was coming into this weekend and I had this thing going on with my neck, I was like, oh, this is really big, because I'm going into a space where I'm going to use my voice in such a bigger capacity than I have, and so it makes sense that this is coming up. But the reason I'm sharing this is I could have very easily just been like, oh, that's just my neck, and made a bunch of excuses for it. But instead, what I did was I realized and recognized that that was my body's reaction to unhealed trauma, and that I needed to go back inside to really look at what was there, to uncover the moments in my life where I felt like I was suffocating, or I felt like I had no voice, or I felt like my voice wasn't valuable. And I had the opportunity to change the story, right? And so this is that beautiful opportunity when our bodies bring up anxiety or fear or actual physical ailments. If we could just use them and think of them as gifts instead of a detriment to us, but it's a gift to go even deeper, to uncover something that we didn't maybe even know was there, to really, really find that space within us where something like, Dr. Bradley Nelson was talking about, where we have those little dark clouds, right? And finding them and really liberating them just from our awareness on them. And so that's, I think, I always, at my meditations on Fridays and the monthly ones, and any of them I do, I always say there's an invitation in every meditation. And I feel like tonight this weekend, there's a really big invitation to use our physical symptoms, our emotional symptoms as gifts, and let ourselves understand ourselves just a little bit more by going within and looking at those things just a little closer.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That's a wonderful sharing. I want to invite everybody, and I'm glad that Paulette and Shakti and Khadija are still with us. During the show, it was pointed out to me something rather sad and shocking. One of our regular viewers, Preston Wilson, died on February 12th. And I'm going to bring up a photo from his Facebook page. This beautiful man, there he is with his daughter. And I think we all, probably many of us know people that are passing or have passed. There's a lot of passages right now. And so as we just look at this photo, Preston passed away on February 12th. So it was just a week ago. I always love what Yogananda taught, that a beautiful short blessing is just maximum grace. Maximum grace. So as we look at Preston and his surviving daughter, let's just hold maximum grace for Preston, for his family. Maximum grace. Maximum grace. Maximum grace. And I'm going to go ahead and just go into gallery view so you see some of our beautiful people that are here still. And let's just hold a moment of prayer. And anyone, we still have over 100 people on our Zoom room and a lot watching on Facebook. In this moment of prayer, in this moment of maximum grace, I welcome anyone who wants to put into this healing circle where we're all over the world, all the way to Australia and all the way East Coast and California. So as we build this bridge of love and light and maximum grace, inviting you to bring anyone into this circle that you want to pray for. Whether it's someone dealing with emotional, physical, spiritual challenges. Maximum grace. maximum grace. Thank you. Thank you, Shakti Durga, Paulette, Teresa, Kadijai. Thank you, everybody. I see people putting things in the chat box. And I'm going to use this as a segue to talk about the power of prayer. On Tuesday, we're going to be gathering to pray for peace, specifically in Ukraine. And so I'm going to go to an interview, a conversation I had with beautiful brother James Francis Twyman, who's leading this vigil for peace on Tuesday. And he's a beautiful, many of you know him as the Peace Troubadour. Traveled all over the world. He's written best-selling books. He's a wonderful musical artist. He's led peace events all over the world. And here's what he's going to be doing for the Ukraine. Welcome to the after show, everybody. And we are blessed to be with Brother James Francis Twyman. You saw a little clip during our Global Peace Tribe announcements. And I would love for you to share with us, how can we really create peace in the world? So now that we're aware, we see all the headlines about the imminent danger to Ukraine. What can we do as individuals? Certainly, of course, joining you on Tuesday, but also just in general, how can we create peace in our world?
It's a great question, Scott. First of all, to realize just how powerful we are, both collectively and individually. We each have within us this amazing power to build and to bring peace, especially when we join together. There is power in joining. And we've seen many times before when thousands or even millions of people join together to focus their intention, that powerful positive vibration onto a given world crisis. Miracles happen. I could give example after example, but I'll give two quick ones because they both have to do.
Give us a couple examples, yeah.
Yeah, very early on, I started off as the Peace Troubadour going into Bosnia and Croatia during that war in the mid-90s. And then a few years later, after my first book, Emissary of Light, came out, I was invited by Saddam Hussein to come to Baghdad at the same time we were getting ready to launch a major military offensive against the Iraqi people. There didn't seem to be any way of blocking this. This was in 1998. And at that time, very few people really had emails and email lists, but we sent out an email to about 300 people asking them to be praying and sending their positive energy and prayers to that situation in Iraq. At the same time, I would be doing the concert in Baghdad. And that it was one of the first examples of a viral video just taking off, and millions of people found out about it and were participating. I could feel during the concert like it was raining this positive energy. And there didn't seem to be any possibility of a negotiated peace. But 3 days later, everything changed. We could almost feel the energy shift during that concert, and a peace accord was signed. Well, as things happen, it got a little hairy again. And so my friend Greg Braden and I, we decided to do this again. We called it the Great Experiment. Let's see if we can prove that this is not only a powerful force, but perhaps the most powerful force in the whole universe. And once again, we were right there in the verge. We invited people all over the world to be part of this synchronized meditation. And what we didn't know at the time, but found out the next day, was that at the same time, there were so many people who were praying, being, sending their energy, being part of this synchronized meditation. At the same time this was happening, President Clinton had given the order for the jets and the bombers to be launched from the aircraft carriers. They were literally hovering above Iraq, waiting for the final order to begin bombing. And to this day, no one knows quite what happened. But it was in the face of this positive energy It couldn't happen. The planes were called back to the aircraft carriers. A very short time later, they were launched again, and then they were brought back. One night, not a single person was injured or killed. This is what began to inspire us. And over and over and over, I could tell so many stories of the miracles that have happened. But obviously, we're in a pivotal moment right now with the Russian forces on the Ukrainian border. This is much more than just a regional skirmish. This is something that could so easily escalate and get out of control in a very terrible way. And this is why it's so important that we all join together at 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon and Eastern U.S. time on February 22nd, which is on Tuesday, which is a very auspicious number because it's 222-2022. And so unified.org is doing a whole day of events on that day. We're going to be starting off. I was intending to be in Ukraine. Tickets were purchased. Everything was organized with our sponsor there in Kiev. But unfortunately, the flights have been canceled. American citizens are now not being allowed to leave. In fact, they're being forced out. Everyone has to leave. So I won't be able to be there physically, but we do have a contingency of people from the Peace School in Ukraine who are going to be joining us on unified.org/love. That's where you can actually watch it and participate with thousands of people. But if you can't be there at that time, we invite you just to stop what you're doing. And here's the key: to get the energy and the feeling that peace has already come to Ukraine, that this situation has already been solved and healed. If enough of us do this positive energy on a feeling basis, this is where the power of prayer really becomes tangible. It's not about asking for something to happen or what we would call a petitionary prayer. It's about feeling that it's already done. In doing so, we take part in the collective vibratory energy of the completion of this goal in advance, and the energy follows. So I just invite you, please spread the word. You can tell everyone to go to unify.org/love, or just send out the information. If you want to get an email, you can always go to my website, which is jamesftwyman.com. Register for our email blast. We're going to be sending out an email right before the vigil happens so that you have all of these links. Participate, join millions of people. Let's do our best to make sure that peace is prevailing on earth and in the Ukraine.
Wow, thank you so much. And I actually, in what you shared, I want to share with you a story you may not know, which you can then share because it's a powerful story about creating peace. A few years ago, you know how presidential files are released in different periods. Some are held for 25 years, some for 50 years. Well, they released some of the files from when President Nixon was president. And it turns out that during the Vietnam War, when America was clearly losing the war, on a very rainy day in Washington, D.C., a group of generals came over to meet with Nixon, and they presented a proposal to use nuclear weapons on Hanoi to turn the tide of the war. That particular day, it had been raining and pouring, and Nixon had gone out, and when he came back in, he saw all these protesters, all these kids getting soaked in the rain, protesting the Vietnam War. And here he is, about to make this incredible, important decision, because if he said, okay, thumbs up, nuclear weapons would have been dropped.
Wow.
And in the records, it specifically says, you know what? I see all those kids out there in the rain protesting. What the hell is going to happen if we start using nuclear weapons? And he said, no. And my tears come because those kids probably have no idea what they did. They just were like, what are we doing? Nobody's paying any attention to us. We're getting soaked. But God knows how they changed the course of history and saved God knows how many lives by their action. So sometimes when we're praying for peace, uh, peacefully protesting. We don't know who's seeing it. We don't know how we're impacting. And so that's why it is so important for us to pray for peace. And thank you so much for leading vigils and opportunities for us to come together and create peace together.
I love that story. Thank you for so much for sharing that with all of us. And you're right, it shows the simple, impactful ways that we can begin to shape this moment and history. I mean, who knows what would have happened if they had not been standing in the rain that day. But as you said, they had no idea. And we have no idea just by sitting in our room and joining in a broadcast, or just sitting and praying for 15 minutes and sending our energy. There are going to be thousands and perhaps even millions of people doing that with you. And we have no idea just how powerful and impactful that can be. As I said before, I really believe that this is the most powerful force in the universe. We can't explain it, we can't understand it, but we can feel it and we can see the results. I can tell you once again, let me give you one more example, actually.
Please do.
One of the more recent prayer vigils that I was part of was when I, excuse me, with a group of other religious leaders, we went to the border of Syria about, I think, 5 or 6 years ago now. And we were looking down from the Golan Heights into Syria, and there was going to be a massive prayer vigil for the situation there. And we could actually see a town in front of us that was held by ISIS. The battle was actually going on in front of us. We could see the tanks, we could hear the guns. And here we are on this hill, far enough away that we weren't in danger, but we could see and hear everything. And there we were, knowing that there were people all over the world joining us, and there were maybe 100 of us there on that hill with Jewish leaders, Muslim leaders, Christian leaders, singing, praying, people all over the world. And then we stopped and we had 10 minutes of silence. And whereas before these bombs and weapons were going off, during that period of silence, nothing. There was not a sound, not a single gun was fired during that period. And they began to howl right exactly when the prayer vigil ended. And we can't explain these things, and this isn't magic, these are miracles, and miracles are natural when we get out of the way and allow them to happen. So once again, we invite all of you to join us at noon New York time, 9 a.m. Pacific US time on the 22nd, which is Tuesday. Just stop what you're doing. Know that you're being joined by so many other people around the world. If you want to get the email with all of the information, you can go to my website, jamesftwyman.com. Go to unify.org/love, and you can actually watch us. We'll be joined by our contingency in Kiev. They are very nervous, as we can imagine, but they're also very positive that we are going to be there with them. They're not alone. They're not isolated. We will be joining them.
Brother James Francis, thank you so much for who you are, what you do. It's always wonderful to have you on the shows, and I will be with you. And I know a lot of people are watching right now on Unify, and we'll all be with you watching on Unify Tuesday morning. And those who can't watch, take the time to drop in and pray. And let's keep praying and keep praying. Thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you, Scott, and many blessings. And may peace prevail on earth and in the Ukraine.
Well, thank you, Khadija and Paulette, for still being with us. Thank you so much. Any thoughts that either of you want to share before we wrap up? We're almost done here. Khadija, Paulette? And you don't need to share anything, but if there's anything you want to say, you're certainly welcome to.
I feel guided to offer a prayer if you have a moment.
Oh, absolutely. I will always have a moment of prayer from you, Paulette.
I don't know what the prayer is, but that's what I'm invited into, and I'm inviting you to join me and hold space with whomever this is for. So we take a deep breath together and tune into our heart space, crossing again into that threshold, across the threshold through compassion's door into the abode of love. And I invite you to feel whatever fears and concerns and anxieties you have coming up about the news reports and the pending stories of war. And feel that in your body. You may even feel your blood run cold right now with anxiety and fear. Just breathe and let that go. Not as a denial, just because we're raising our vision, we're raising our consciousness above that talk to the reality of peace and its possibility in our time. There is a biblical scripture that says, where two or three are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst. And the name is I am. And the I am is the divine within us. And there is power in the name of the divine. And so we speak to our inner divine nature, our highest self, and decree that we believe that peace is possible right here and right now, beyond all outside visions, all outside news reports, all evidence to the contrary. Peace is possible, and it begins with each of us in this place of peace in our heart. And so, united in our intention, unified in our purpose, we link heart to heart, mind to mind, hand to hand, across the ocean, across the waves, and we feel that circle of peace surrounding the world, surrounding every continent. And there are lights going off in every continent as our consciousness connects right now in this intention. They are lights of peace. They are lights of possibility. And so we speak peace. Speak peace where you are right now. Affirm peace is possible. Peace is possible now. And there is a prayer for peace for those who are grieving right now, those who have lost loved ones along the way, those who are witnessing their loved ones in their peaceful passing. Their hearts are breaking, and yet there is healing in this condition, in this circumstance too. And so we lift up those who are brokenhearted, who are grieving, who are in pain, physical or emotional, and we hold a space of peace and possibility for each of them. May you feel the love, may you feel the comfort, may you feel the strength fortifying you right now for what is ahead, for the journey that you travel, knowing that you do not travel this journey alone. Love guides and lights the way. And this is no platitude, this is no verbiage, this is the truth, and I decree it in the name and through the power and under the authority of the living, loving, divine presence within each of us, unifying us now in this intention as I release this word to go forth and express into existence as it has been decreed. And so it is.
And so it is.
So be it.
So be it.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paulette. I'm going to close our show with that. Thank you so much, Paulette. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, hopefully. And have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Good night, everybody.